42-0 last week.
Right, yeah, that's a great point, Lance. They grew as they came along, very young, lost a lot of people from that state championship team. And North Fremont is a team that has just been right there, but just can't even get over the hump into the state championship. I don't know how many games did you do in the blizzard up there, up north against Firth, up in Ashton, and they just can't seem to get there. They are right there, and this might be the year. They've got the 2 seed in the bracket. They've got home field throughout if it came to it, and you know what? This might be the year for the Huskies to finally get over the hump.
Yeah, it very well might be. I've had them a couple times this year. They're a very good team, and we talk about Bear Lake really had to kind of learn who they were coming into this season. It took them a little longer to do that. North Fremont knew a lot more about themselves. Not that they didn't lose, good pieces off of last year's team, but they knew a lot more about themselves coming into this season.
Right.
And but they've just been consistent all the way through, and I think really that's what Coach Lenz wants from his team is consistency. Get out there and do it. Back in the 2018 season, they played for the state championship against against Declo. Ended up getting beat fairly handily in that game. Of course, Declo, you're number one, 2A this year. State championship game. They feel they can win a state championship this year.
And they've been prepared for it. They've had a tough schedule, and they are ready to go. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the opening kickoff right here on IdahoSports.com.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Idaho. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Idaho High School Activities Association and the Idaho Athletic Administrators Association.
I am Kevin, and I'm from Idaho Falls. It's important for the disabled to be vaccinated because of COVID. I chose to be vaccinated because I didn't want to be sick or in the hospital. Getting the vaccination, my experience was painless and worth it. It was a very wise choice.
Dear Freedom, here's to more miles driven, more dollars saved, and more electrified vehicles than any other brand. Yours, Toyota Hybrids. Toyota, let's go places.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Folks, I've got good news and bad news. Bad news? You just took that selfie with Poison Ivy. Good news? Someone gets to use their coverage from Your Health Idaho. Quality coverage for as low as $0 a month.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Welcome to the Ryerson Family Backyard Games. There will be obstacles to face and challenges to overcome. Are you ready?
Apprenticeships, job training, community college, and university programs that lead to in-demand careers. Students choose their own path, and Idaho Launch helps pay for it. Funds are limited. Apply today at nextsteps.idaho.gov/launch. Idaho Launch. Support in every direction.
This is not what I asked for.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Give the gift of college savings this holiday season with Ideal, Idaho's 529 college savings program. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
I love it. Thank you.
College costs money.
And welcome back, everybody. We timed that perfectly. We tried to time it where we talked a little bit, went away for the national anthem, and just as the flag got folded up inside the never-ending motor up there, just as that happened, we came back on the air. So again, we're set and ready to go. We got the national anthem played. We got the Bear Lake Band here. We got Lance and Logan up here. What else could you want on a Thursday afternoon?
You know, this should be really interesting when you have two teams that know each other like this, who have played against each other. We mentioned before in the pregame that Bear Lake's a different team now than they were at the first of the year. I think they're more different to this point than North Fremont is at this point, because I think North Fremont knew a lot more about themselves coming into the season. You know, even though they got that 28-6 victory, you know, to start the season, this is really one of those games that if you're North Fremont, you can't come in here thinking, hey, this game's ours. You know, they do run that veer offense, which is really, really tough to defend. It's really kind of the closest thing to a triple option that you get. You see that a lot with the military schools. But they do run that veer offense. You know, you got the dive course, the pitch course, the blocker course. You know, on that, it's very, very tough for teams to deal with. North Fremont, by the way, did win the opening toss and deferred to half number 2.
Coming into this game, Bear Lake, they're very balanced in terms of offense. They had 1,300 yards through the air during the season and 800 yards on the ground. So really, you know, they can do it either way, and that's what makes a team dangerous, I think, is when you've got the ability to go both ways, you're able to get it done. So we're ready for the opening kickoff. North Fremont, like Lance said, they've won the toss, and they will kick away. They are in the all purples, purple helmets, purple pants, purple jerseys with white socks, white numbers, and white trim. They will be moving from right to left as you hear it. Everybody bunched up around the 40-yard line. Bear Lake in the all-white jerseys, and North Fremont runs up to the kick and then backs it back out. Bear Lake, silver helmets, white jerseys, white pants, blue numbers with silver trim. All right, here we go. This one will be booted away by North Fremont's number 1, Roy Wynn, and we are underway. Straight kick right down the middle, bounces at the 13-yard line and picked up there by Bear Lake. Bear Lake around the left side, some room to run by number 8, Toby Flake. Flake is around the 35 before he's finally pushed out. They'll spot him out at the 33.
You know, I think as you look at these two, you want to hear that all the time, but that's the realistics of this year's team, you know. And but there's not going to be as much difference between them as there was at the first of the season. However, if you are Bear Lake, I think you're the team in this that is probably going to be the team that's going to have to take a couple chances in this ball game. Maybe go on it on a fourth down that you wouldn't typically do it, a fake punt, you know, or an onside kick, something like that.
Something to shake it up.
Yep, that could be the difference in this game.
Shotgun formation to open it up. They'll run the option here to the near side and nowhere to go. They're going to lose a couple of yards on the carry. Number 22, Martin Gonzalez. He's knocked back. They'll knock him at the 30-yard line. He loses 3 yards.
Yeah, brought down in the backfield. By number 32, Travis Marshall. He was just out there quick. Pardon me, that was actually number 42, Cutter Bowman. Out there really quick, brought him down for that loss, and really what North Fremont did really well in that is they stayed home. Nobody bit on the quarterback. Nobody bit on the runner. They waited. They stayed home and made it till that final decision was made.
2nd and 13, 11:15 to go. Same shotgun formation. This time a handoff up the middle across the 35, and nothing else doing there for Trayson Thornton. He gets to around the 35, pick up a 5, but a flag on the play on the far side.
Yeah, but a flag on that far side, and it came in quite late. Not quite sure what it was. If he's calling a false start, that's an awfully late flag for a false start.
Here comes the call from the official. And he's discussing with another official. I think North Fremont's trying to decide if they want to take it or not. It is a false start. It's going to go against Bear Lake, obviously. So we'll push it back 5 more yards. This is going to make it 2nd down and
18.
The ball's at the 25 now.
Yeah, of course you're going to take that penalty. You know, it's one thing if it's 4th down or something like that, but you're definitely going to take that penalty when it comes to it. And, you know, that offensive line, and, of course, if you're Bear Lake, you got to keep that offensive line of North Fremont's honest. So you got to run to them occasionally. However, that is a tough task. Because the defensive line from North Fremont's very, very good.
2nd down play. They're going to throw across the middle. It's caught across the 40-yard line. It's going to make it a very manageable 3rd down. I think they might have got it down to the 43.
Yeah, it's awfully close. Yep, they're calling him down. Andrew Martin was the defender on the play, and Martin had good coverage. It wasn't that he wasn't there as a defender. It was just one of those. It was an excellent pass.
And it was Caden Anderson got the inside track on the defender on the slant route and caught it across the middle, and that pass was right on the money. Anderson comes into this game. He's only got 10 receiving yards on the season, and right there before the playoffs, and right there picks up a big, about 18 yards. 1st down. Quarterback will keep it this time left side, gets around one defender, can't get around a second. And I think only back to the line of scrimmage there, Lance.
Yeah, and it puts them back a little bit more towards the left side of the field. There was no gain on the play, left side of the field, where they can maybe possibly open up again on that right side where they like to run that option. We've already seen them try that today. You know, when you talk about them going to a receiver they haven't used very often and stuff, those are really some of those, you know, we talk about them taking some chances. Those are some chances, you know, maybe using a player occasionally that hasn't really been scouted, you know, by the other team, doesn't have a lot of catches, different things like that. And you got a quarterback that can put it on the numbers, and I'll tell you, you're right there, and Lloyd did it.
And 2nd down, incomplete pass. Looking over here on the right side for Toby Flake, the man who caught the long pass earlier. So now it's going to be 3rd and 10.
Carson Bone on the defensive assignment. Carson Bone is a name that we are going to call a ton today on the other side of the ball. He's just one of those fantastic players for the Huskies, but he had the defensive assignment there. The ball was thrown where only the offensive man could get it. If you throw it any more to the inside, that's going to end up being an interception.
So it'll be 3rd down, 3rd and 10 here. Bear Lake will come out in the shotgun. They've got 3 receivers up top, 1 alone down low. And, of course, quarterback Rhett Lloyd has 1 man to his right. They're taking their time here. Here's the snap. He'll look left, dances around, goes left side, backing up, throws it off his back foot, tossed up, intercepted at the 40-yard line by North Fremont. Across midfield, down to the 45, and going to get all the way to the 40-yard line. North Fremont comes away with a big interception, and they get the ball inside Bear Lake territory because of it, picked off by number 1, Roy Wynn.
Yeah, Roy Wynn's another one of those players that we're actually going to call his name quite often tonight. When you look at their main offensive players, it's Carson Bond, it's Jed Hill as their quarterback, and then Roy Wynn as a receiver as well. He's also a punt returner on this team too. And, you know, if you're Bear Lake, one of the keys to victories that I had for Bear Lake was don't get down early, because North Fremont is such a tough team to come back on. You got to play physical, you got to take chances, but even with those chances, you got to play pretty much mistake-free if you want to beat this North Fremont team.
So it's 1st down, North Fremont. They'll take over at the 40-yard line at Bear Lake. One of those underneath handoffs to number 21, Carson Bone. Bone gets about 5 yards down to the 35. And like you said, Lance, so this tight triple option looking offense that you would see at a military school, that sort of thing, and that's exactly what they did. They're actually going to give them 6 on that one.
Well, it's more like the triple option when you see the veer, but it also has some aspects almost of a wing T, you know, where you're doing some misdirection at times and things like that. And so, you know, defenses have to be on their toes.
Here's the option, pitch out left side, some room, and the ball comes out, and it's recovered by North Fremont. The ball was popped out of the hands of Andrew Martin here right on the sideline.
Yeah, Tegan Sessions ends up coming up with that ball, and it was a good thing. One of the keys of victory that I had as well for Bear Lake is that you've got to cause some turnovers. If there is one weakness that North Fremont has had, and they don't have many of them, one is that they've turned the ball over a number of times this year, and there's been some, they've played some teams that haven't really had the ability to make them pay for that. But Bear Lake is a team that could do that.
They will, and they'll take advantage of those opportunities. So it's going to be first down. The first down was picked up before the fumble occurred. So first down, Jed Hill under center. He's got two backs beside him, hands off to the first man once again. That's Bone.
And he fumbled again and recovered it himself. He fumbled it and recovered it.
Bone falls forward, gets 5 yards. So the ball's moving forward for North Fremont, but they put it on the ground a couple times, and he can't do that too many times or it's going to come back and bite you.
Yeah, percentages start working against you the more that you do that. And, Bone is one of those guys that he's going to pick up 3-4 yards, if not more, on pretty much every time that he touches the ball. So he's a guy you're going to have to gear in on if you're Bear Lake, or he can punish you real quick.
Handoff this time in the first quarter.
Andrew Martin, a 5'10", 160-pound sophomore. This is a kid that's going to return 2 more years for Coach Ben Lenz and the Huskies, and they use him a lot in this system. He's a very strong runner. He's a multi-sport athlete. He's a kid that can really just get out there. He can take a lot of hits. He doesn't mind giving hits as well. And so, he'll
go. First down is going to be picked up by Bone. He gets down to about the 17-yard line. A fresh set of downs coming here for North Fremont.
North Fremont, kind of an interesting stat along their side is that let's see where I have it here. Yeah, every game but one this year ended in an 8. Their first games, they scored 28, 48, 48, 28, 38, 48, 38, and then last week 52. Their last game 52. I was joking with Ben Lenz about that. Their coach earlier in the year, I says, well, if it ends on an 8, you're either going to win that or lose that, I guess, huh?
That's what they like to do. I wonder if they plan it that way. On the first down run, they roll left. Nothing there for Hill. He picks up about 2 yards down to the 15-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8, 6:25 to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, that was good defense that time by Bear Lake because they went and cut off that edge. They forced him up between that 2 gap, and they had tacklers there waiting. One of the things, and you talk about, we talk about the scores ended in, and of course they're all even. The one that was 52 is an even number. North Fremont doesn't kick extra points; they always go for 2, and it's those extra points that start giving you those.
2nd and 8 here. They will keep it in. They're going to go to the air, and they've got to. Oh man! They go underneath and wide open. Cutter Bowman was as open as you could be in the end zone, and you saw it, Lance. I saw it, and I was about to say touchdown, North Fremont. He was wide open. They go underneath on the short slant pat that was maybe 2 or 3 yards downfield, and a missed opportunity there for North Fremont.
That's right. That's one of those that in game film this week they're going to look at that and they say that doesn't happen again.
No,
he was
wet,
and you saw Bowman just kind of slam his hand downs at the end like I'm standing here wide open. He could have thrown a 40-foot in the air duck and it would have still got there.
Yeah, he could have tossed it.
No defender would have got it.
Style, and it would have got there. So now it's 3rd and 8 for North Fremont. Again, double bunch in the back, and everybody jumps on the line for Bear Lake. So it's going to be now 3rd and a little bit shorter here. 3rd and 3, much more manageable.
Yeah, it is. And you talk about, the third down. 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 3 are 2 very, very different styles of play. And the key for any team is giving yourself a manageable 3rd down. And that's exactly what they've done here. Their last 3rd down in this possession was a 3rd and 1. So if you have those manageable 3rd downs, you tend to continue to move the sticks.
So 5:49 to go here in the first quarter. North Fremont knocking on the door, moving right to left. Their ball is right in the middle of the hash marks, just right in the middle, right at the 10-yard line. 3rd and 3. Again, North Fremont just missed a golden opportunity for a touchdown. So 3rd down, heavy set to the left this time, and whistles blow, and a timeout going to be called here by North Fremont.
Yeah, Shannon Hill, their assistant coach, who's, by the way, their men's head basketball coach, he saw something he didn't like, and he looked over at Coach Lenz and got that timeout.
So timeout still here on the field. North Fremont wanted to discuss it after they got 5 free yards, and it's 3rd and 3 again, still 5:49 on the clock.
And again, it's that manageable three. But Coach Shannon Hill, one of their assistant coaches who works with the offense, he just saw something that he didn't like out there. This is a good group of coaches up there. You got Ben Lenz, he's your head coach. He's the women's head basketball coach. Shannon Hill is an assistant coach here. He's your men's head basketball coach. Got other coaches like Blake Bowman. Jim Jorgensen, of course, is their PA announcer for their varsity games that they play at home. He's down on the sidelines today. Good friend of mine.
Here's the pitch left side. They've got the first down and maybe a yard or two more down to the 5-yard.
Quarterback when he's on offense, Rhett Lloyd, what he did is he turned the runner up. He cut him off on the outside and turned him up to where he had tacklers, because if he doesn't turn him up in that's a touchdown in the corner of the end zone.
So now 1st and goal for North Fremont. Ball at the 5-yard line here on the near hash. Again, Hill goes under center. He's got 2 backs offset behind him and 2 to the right side. They will go right. He's going to keep it himself. Tries to get around the outside. And he's going to lose. No, he might pick up a yard. No, just back to the line of scrimmage as he leaped around. 2 different Bear Lake defenders came around on that right side. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, well, Caden Wright was there waiting for him. It was a good tackle. One thing that I was actually surprised that Jed Hill did there is he lowered his head and kind of invited that contact with him, where he really had some opening that if he just kind of juked a little bit to the left, he might have been able to skirt him and get inside the 5-yard line.
4:50 to go here in the first quarter. North Fremont again knocking on the door. Ball at the 5-yard line, 2nd and goal. Hill taking his time this time. Stacked to the right this play. They'll go right and stretching across the goal line and in for a touchdown is Jacob Hill. Hill punches it in from 5 yards out, and North Fremont strikes first.
Weapons on this team. That what happens when you start looking for Bone? Well, then Martin runs it. Now Hill runs it. There's a lot of different guys that can hurt you on this team.
So that score at the 4:36 mark of the first quarter, a 5-yard touchdown run by number 3, Jacob Hill. So again, they will go for 2, like you said, Lance. They always go for 2. The formation is stacked to the left this time as they snap it in the middle of the field. He'll keep it this time, pitches it out left side, and going in for the conversion is Andrew Martin. So North Fremont takes a quick 8-0 lead here with 4:36 to go in the first quarter. Hey, let's thank some of our great local sponsors here today. Pocock Trucking is based in Sugar City, but sends trucks all over the western United States and Canada. Pocock Trucking is a full service trucking service, and by that we mean we do everything. They haul bulk commodities like feed, fertilizer, grain, and potatoes. They offer minor shop repairs and have a full service loop bay. They grow potatoes, dairy quality alfalfa, and lots more. They can even sell you a used truck if you need one. Pocock Trucking's main office is in Sugar City, and their truck shop is located in St. Anthony. For more information, go to pocockTrucking.com. St. Anthony Motors, get $10 oil changes for life with the purchase of any new or pre-owned vehicle at St. Anthony Motors Service. They service all makes and models. Their service department loves servicing all of Southeast Idaho with professional and expert customer service. Come in today and talk with their amazing sales team and find the perfect vehicle for your needs. You'll find it at St. Anthony Motors that everything is just a tad less.
You ask for my buddy Blake Bauer when you go in there. Blake will take care of you at St. Anthony Motors. What a great pitch, by the way, going back to that to that 2-point conversion by Jacob, the pitch by Jed Hill. He waited till the last second for that defender to commit. There was one defender, and he was either going to have to commit to the outside to Martin or commit to the inside to Hill. He committed to the inside, and as soon as he committed, on that moment, Hill pitches it out.
So North Fremont again will boot it away as we begin this new drive here for Bear Lake. Again, North Fremont kicking it away from right to left as you hear it. This kickoff is going to land at the 20, still rolling, finally picked up at the 10.
In on the tackle, number 5, Dylan Pugmire. Also 66 in on the tackle. That's Titan Early, a senior. He's offensive and defensive lineman as well. These are the things that you're going to get with this Veer offense. They're usually not big plays. They chip away at you. They're chip plays. And picked up just several yards here and there and then get these first downs. And then what they do is then when they got you, hugging in tight with your defense, then they end up going deep to one of their receivers, usually win. Up the middle now for a run that's close out to the first down mark. In fact, I think it is going to be a first down. Number 34, Andrew Martin, the sophomore, who's been solid all year long for Coach Lenz and the Huskies of North Fremont. So the ball on the 30-yard line, 1st and 10 North Fremont. Minute 21 remaining in quarter number 1, and already a score up on the board for the Huskies. Up under center again is going to be Jed Hill. It's rare to see him go with anything but under center. Goes to Bone again. Bone's going to pick up about 6 or 7 yards on this. Remember the first couple times that Bone carried the ball here in the first half, he fumbled it. Fortunately, they were able to recover each time they did. He's been pretty secure since that point. Ball goes down to the 23-yard line where it's going to be 2nd and 3 for North Fremont. North Fremont continues to send Wynn wide, and when they choose to pull the trigger to pass to him, it's usually for one that's pretty deep. You get the ball off to Martin. Martin brought down early. He does get about a yard gain on the play before he's finally brought down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2, but again, as we've seen with North Fremont throughout this entire first half thus far, as we wind down towards the end of the first quarter, is that they almost always have a manageable 3rd down. In fact, in this game, they have not had a time when they have not had a manageable 3rd down. So we come to the end of quarter number 1. And it's going to be 8-0. That is your score. Okay, the scoring for this first quarter on that touchdown, it was simple. 4:36 remaining in quarter number 1, a 5-yard run. That was by Jacob Hill. And then the pitch to Martin on a fantastic option play for the 2-point conversion. That puts us out to 8-0. You know, we talked about North Fremont, just playing consistent all the time. And again, on paper, when you look at these two teams, North Fremont is the team that's going to have the advantage. And I think it's fair to say if both these teams play their best, that North Fremont's best is better than Bear Lake's best this year. Last year it was the opposite. What that does is that puts the onus on a Bear Lake to, 1, you've got to cut down on mistakes. Number 2, you're probably going to have to take some chances here and there that you might not have normally took before, and hopefully not make a mistake on those. So, things like going for it on a 4th where you don't typically go for it. Obviously, on their previous possession, they were punting inside the 5-yard line, so that they had to do it. But there might be times they have to go for it. Maybe an onside kick at some point, maybe a fake punt at some point. Things like that can potentially bring them up. And we're here, 12 minutes upon the clock, quarter number 2, and it's 3rd and 2. Hill under center, 2 in the backfield. He's just going to push it himself, and he's going to pick up the first down inside the 20-yard line. Looks like he might have even got down to the 18 as he kept moving the pile behind his big men. One of the things you see, particularly with your 1As, which are 8-man football, and your 2As, and then some of your 3As, particularly your smaller 3As, you'll see a lot of players that go both ways. You look at Rhett Lloyd, for example, the quarterback for Bear Lake. He's also the 2nd leading tackler on that Bear Lake team as well, as they go both ways. And so oftentimes you'll see things like the veer, the double wing, the wing T, things like that, where you can kind of fill players in should an injury happen, where if you run a spread offense and you lose your quarterback, that really, really changes the picture for you. Andrew Martin, carry on the play, got maybe a yard on the play. We're going to call it 2nd and a long 8, short 9. Ball now down on the 17-yard line for this 2nd down. Up under center again is Hill. He has Wynn out wide left. They might send him to the corner of the end zone. Now they move him wide. Single in the backfield. Popping back, and we're going to see the first pass by North Fremont. 2nd pass, I should say, and this one's good. Bone. And Bone, as Hill throws it right over top at the outstretched hands of the defender. And it comes with 10:50 remaining in quarter number 2. So a 17-yard pass. And again, they'll come on and try for the 2-point conversion. Would not be surprised to see him go with the option again this time with Martin like they did last time. Hill tends to score quite a bit on their 2-point options as well. I've had them several times this year, have yet to see them attempt to kick an extra point. This time they're not going to go with the option, but we're going to get a false start on the play. That's going to move them back 5 yards, and they're going to try for the 2-point conversion again. And I've seen them in this position as well and have not seen them try to kick it. So they'll probably go for this again. Ball placed on the 8-yard line where it's going to be the 2-point conversion. Play comes in, or it's coming in. Jet Hill speaks with his offense as Wynn brings in the play, along with number 25, Tegan Sessions. Tegan, another one of the seniors. North Fremont has some great talent coming back again next year. Bear Lake will move up a school size. Being flushed out of the pocket is Hill. They're going to bring him down as he attempts to get the ball off. The 2-point conversion is no good. And your score with 10:50 remaining in quarter number 2 is 14-0. The Huskies on top of the Bears. Pull back. Wynn does a lot for this team. He's their leading receiver. He gets some runs as well. He kicks off and does punt and kickoff return. This one goes into the end zone. So by rule, it's going to come out to the 20-yard line. The best block that just happened out there in the field actually was between 2 North Fremont guys who both went to block a Bear Lake, their own Bear Lake players, and their players stepped them off, so they ended up blocking each other, and both of them went down on the play. One of those comical. The receiver on the play was going to be Levi Stonehouse, and he just threw it to a place that Stonehouse could not catch it. Brings up a 2nd and 10. One of the things that we are seeing right now with Bear Lake is just their inability at this point of the ball game to continue a drive. They'll have some good plays here and there, but then they end up with getting losses in the backfield. They ended up, of course, with the interception that set up the first touchdown for North Fremont. These are things that Bear Lake's going to have to clear up. They're not out of this ball game by any stretch. They're down 14-0. Plenty of time left. 10:46 remaining in quarter number 2. They're going to come out of the backfield, try to run it up the middle again. They're going to get about a yard on the play. It's going to come out to the 21-yard line. What will be 3rd and 9. Number 3, Trayson Thornton on the carry. Thornton, one of these juniors that'll return next year. A lot of juniors on this Bears lineup. Remember last year, they had those 12 good seniors that they ended up graduating off of that state championship team, a team that a lot of people didn't think were going to win the state championship game. They thought they were going to get knocked off early. Of course, you had Westside that was the odds-on favorite last year. Bear Lake came up, won the whole thing against Firth in a really low-scoring contest, 14-6. Now dropping back in the pocket. It's Lloyd. We might get a pass interference call here. We do not. And the Bear Lake fans might have a case as Martin got down there and ended up bumping their receiver really, really early in the play. The intended receiver on the play was Levi Stonehouse. The ball was slightly underthrown, and being underthrown, he had to kind of stop his run a little bit, but the defender ran right into him. And it brings up again another 4th down and another punt from deep in their own territory is going to be Bear Lake. Last punt ended up not too bad. Did go out of bounds. However, if it would have stayed in bounds, it would have been clear down to the 24-yard line on the other side of the field. This one bounces on the ground. He picks it up. He's still going to try to get it off. He does so. It goes inside the 10-yard line and is going to be recovered down on the 6 by North Fremont. It is a touchdown, North Fremont, as they pick it up. Now, we're going to get a discussion down there by the by the officials. Yeah, I mean, it was a clear punt. He got it off, and it just rolled. Nobody touched it, so the Huskies pick it up and run it in for a touchdown. Now, this was awfully odd. It comes at the 9:39 mark of quarter number 2, and it's a 6-yard punt return for a touchdown. We'll see if we can ever find that stat. Yard punt return for a touchdown for North Fremont. Now they go for the 2-point conversion once again. Now they are going to go with the pitch. This time it's to Bone. He steps in. He had a great block on the outside. Cannot say how fantastic that block was by Tegan Sessions to get out there and open that up for Bone as he puts it in. It's just a fantastic course of events here for North Fremont. That puts our score out 22-0, still with 9:39 remaining in the second quarter, as Bone is the benefactor on that pitch from Hill. Folks, don't forget, coming up after this game tonight, going to have another game right here in the Dome. We're going to jump from 2A to 3A as Buell, a much improved Buell program over the last couple years, will come in and play Teton, one of the highest scoring teams in the state. They also have the state's leading passer, the state's leading receiver at any size division. And, of course, Buell brings in the leading sacker in the state with 17 on the season. Leads all school sizes as well. It should be a very good game coming up again on IdahoSports.com. That game is slated to start at 8:15 p.m. Mountain Time. And now North Fremont's going to kick off again. Once again, it's going to be Wynn. And once again, they'll line up in that onside kick set. We'll see if they fake it and come back out of it. Now, looking at these two teams now, obviously, if you're Bear Lake, you've got to start to make some changes. What you've been doing is not working for you. Some of those are simple execution problems that if you clear up the execution of them, you end up doing okay with it and being able to come back out of that. If you are North Fremont, you have the pedal down, and you do not take off the pedal at this point. You continue to be both aggressively defensive and offensive. This kick goes down, goes inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be fielded down at the 5. Finally brought back out and brought down on the 15-yard line. It was number 8, Toby Flake. Wow, what a fantastic defensive play by Owen Reed, the sophomore. A lot of sophomores that are contributors on this North Fremont team. We talk about how good they're going to be over the next couple years as well. But the ball was rolling quick. Had Flake had just let it go into the end zone, they'd have got it out on the 20. As it is, he tries to run it out. And Reed with the good tackle brings him down on the 15-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Bear Lake in a spot that they're becoming very familiar with, down inside the 20-yard line on their own side of the field. So they've had 2 punts from inside there, one of them just disastrous, as it was a 6-yard punt return. From the shotgun, now a man takes off. Looked like it was number 9, Caden Anderson, the sophomore receiver that just took off a little bit early. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty, and now we're seeing from Bear Lake these things that continue to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And the last couple possessions hasn't even been 1 step forward. It's just simply been 2 steps back. Coming off their first-round victory, 42-0 over a Wendell team that Bear Lake could beat. Out to his receiver. Pass was a little wide, but he ends up getting it out to him anyway. And Anderson, who was guilty of the false start on the previous snap, ends up picking some yardage back up here. Going to be a 2nd and 12. Ball placed on the 13-yard line. Or it will be 2nd and 12 for Bear Lake. Winding down now to 9 minutes on the clock in quarter number 2. Play comes in off the sideline. Bear Lake had wins this year over Firth, Wendell, Malad, Soda Springs, and then Wendell again in the playoffs last week. And, of course, this is their 2nd time playing North Fremont on the season as well. We've talked about that earlier. The first game of the season for both teams, it was a 28-6 victory for North Fremont. From the shotgun. We're going to get a false start again. No, we're going to get a timeout. This timeout going to be taken by Ryan Messerly. So we talk about their wins. Here's their losses on their season. North Fremont, Lyman, Wyoming, and then Westside and Aberdeen. Westside and Aberdeen are both conference opponents for them. Of course, Westside, the number 2 ranked 2A team in the state as well. Very, very good team and been perennial champions as well. We're going to take a break here on Idaho Sports. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. 22-0 is your score. Coming off the timeout, the 8:33 mark of quarter number 2. Timeout taken by Coach Ryan Messerly from Bear Lake. North Fremont's wins on the season were, of course, Bear Lake to start it. Kellogg, Malad, West Jefferson, Aberdeen, Firth, and Ryrie. They were 7-1 on the season, 3-0 in the Nuclear Conference. Their only loss came to Melba in a very, very tight ball game. That's a team that they've gone back and forth with the last few years on victories, and Melba got them this year. Right now, your 2A rankings, Media Poll has Declo number 1, Westside number 2, North Fremont, Napa Christian, and then Melba. Coach's poll is the exact same. Bear Lake trying to get anything going. It's a 2nd and 12. Back drops Lloyd. Gets it out to his receiver right in his hands, and unable to come in with the catch is Levi Stonehouse. You know, those are those things that we talk about. Those are the mistakes that Bear Lake cannot afford in a game like this. That ball, it was a great pass by Lloyd, put right into the hands of Stonehouse. Just bounced off the shoulder pads on his chest there, the chest pad, part of the shoulder pads, and came off. Those are ones you got to be able to convert. That would have been a first down by about 5 yards. They'll go with the same set. This time trips right, single left, one in the backfield from the shotgun. They will have one receiver in single coverage on the far side of the field. And they go down, throwing into double coverage, and it's going to get picked off again. Second interception of the game. This interception goes to Jed Hill, quarterback on the other side of the ball, and now another short field again for North Fremont. North Fremont already up 3 scores in this ball game, and still with plenty of time to put up a couple more here in quarter number 2 as well. Only one time in this ball game has North Fremont had to go the majority of the length of the field to score a touchdown. Everything else, now 2 interceptions, the punt that went out around midfield, and then the punt that was a return for a 6-yard touchdown. Short fields. Going up the middle this time, it's going to be Jacob Hill. Jacob Hill is going to pick up about 6 yards on the play. He's going to bring up a 2nd and 4. Ball down on the 27-yard line, where it will be that 2nd down for the Huskies of North Fremont. Huskies in their home purple with the white numbers and trim. For Bear Lake, they're in their road whites with the royal blue numbers and trim, and trying to get something going before they go back up to the 3A division. Once again, it's Jacob Hill, and this time he picks up the first down. He gets inside the 20-yard line down to about the 17, where it's going to be a 1st and 10 again for the North Fremont Huskies. And right now, North Fremont is the riddle that Bear Lake is having a hard time figuring out. Again, this Bear Lake team is your reigning 2A state champions, also your reigning 2A state champions in boys basketball. Once they drop down to the 2A division, they've really had some dominant years, and they'll be going back up now to the 3A division. Jacob Hill again. They're going to run on the legs of Jacob Hill. It's been primarily Bone through the other possessions that they have had. This time is Jacob Hill. Both are seniors. Pugmire got in on that. For the Bear Lake Bears. Up under center again. It's going to be Jed Hill. They've given it to Jacob Hill. Every carry this possession so far. This time they go out on the option. Jed Hill's going to keep it. Gets down to the 5-yard line where it's going to be a 1st and goal. So the chains will drop. It'll be a 1st and goal from the 5. Already up 22-0 with 6:36 remaining in the first half of play. North Fremont again knocking on the door of a score. Beautiful upgrades here to Holt Arena, formerly the Mini Dome for old folks like me who grew up knowing about this place. And nice turf field down. They've got the nice black and orange bucket seats now. They did the north side. I wouldn't be surprised to see him give it back to Jacob Hill again and let him run it in, as Bear Lake has really been unable to get stops near the line of scrimmage. Hill up under center. He goes to Jacob Hill, and he punches it in. So Jacob Hill has every carry but one in that possession and then punches it in with 5:28 remaining. Again, still a lot of time left here in the second quarter of play. That time with the 1-yard run. And again, they'll go for the 2-point conversion, as they always do. Same set as they do in the thick of the offense. This time it's going to be kept by Jed Hill, and he gets in for the 2-point conversion. Jed Hill on the keeper puts it in and moves our score out 30-0. And right now, Bear Lake really struggling.
Yeah, they're right now North Fremont in control of this one. Let's go ahead and thank some of those Bear Lake sponsors here. South Point Electric. Choose South Point Electric in Paris to be your electrical contractor for new construction, remodel, and even commercial projects. Proud to support the Bear Lake High School student athletes. Go Bears. And Northern Title, if you're considering purchase, selling, building, or refinancing, be sure to remember Northern Title. When making these decisions, you can count on them for reliable and accurate title and closing needs. You make the choice. Northern Title has combined with local professionals to ensure your real estate needs for over 3 decades. Choose Northern Title, good deeds done daily. Northern Title is proud to support the Bear Lake Bears. Good luck today, boys. And finally, need help with your bookkeeping and personal and business tax returns or your payroll? The good folks at Gary H. Tusher CPA are ready to help you. You can call them at 847-2601 for an appointment or visit their website at garytcpa.com. See Gary in Montpelier at 110 North 8th Street. Gary Tusher and his staff are proud supporters of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck this weekend, boys.
Talking about the keys to victory for North Fremont, one that I listed was get up early because you've proven that you're a hard team to come back on. They've done that. Stay within who you are. They've done that. And the reason why to do that is because Bear Lake is technically a better team now than they were at the first of the season. And then the third is don't turn the ball over. They've had those 2 early fumbles.
Yeah.
They recovered them both, and then they've been the beneficiary of picking off 2 passes from Bear Lake as well, and they have scored on every possession they've had, plus a special teams
The
play.
bad punt, yeah, and they're going to get a good return here across the 20, gets around one defender, now across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 37. And maybe that's a spark, Lance, that they've been looking for.
Well, if it wasn't for Orrin Miller to slow him down and then finally coming in to make the tackle was Cutter Bowman, I'll tell you what, he'd have been gone the entire way. It was Toby Flake returning that, and Flake would have been gone if it hadn't have been for that cutoff there, because there was nobody behind Orrin Miller. He just slowed him down enough that his teammate could catch up and make the tackle.
And that's what they've tried to go to the outside a couple times, just haven't been able to get the edge, and they finally do there. A couple guys fall for North Fremont, and now the Bears come out. 1st and 10, good field possession here at the 37. They've got one receiver up top, Twins here down below. They've got 2 backs to the right of the quarterback here. The second back is going to get it running left side, nowhere to go, and going to lose a lot of yards, and then a late hit there by North Fremont, and they let it go.
Well, that was, by the time the whistle blew, he was already in his engagement. It was actually Jacob Hill. He was already headed, had his head down. He ends up shoving him down. But this is the 4th time now that Bear Lake has tried some kind of sweep or run to the outside. All 4 of them, they've lost yardage on them.
And that's what we were just saying, right? Trying to get to the outside, can't do it. Can't run up the middle against North Fremont, can't get the edge, and it's going to make for a long night here with 4:40 to go in the second quarter. That was number 18, Caleb Whipscombe on the run. Nowhere to go. Now twin receivers to either side, this time for Lloyd. He'll bring a man in motion coming across as Anderson.
And so now they're on the right hash mark, and that might have been a setup play so that they could make the pass down here on this side. Typically, they've tried to go to Levi Stonehouse on those plays.
Yeah, and we've seen receivers to either side, and same thing. Lloyd's got a man to his right. Lloyd looking to throw. He sets up the screen, and man, that's dangerous and going to go nowhere. The tunnel screen gets 2 yards. And honestly, Lance, that one had a great shot at being intercepted down low. It only picks up maybe 2 yards back to the line of scrimmage.
It did, and the good junior defender Orrin Miller was able to get the ankle tackle on there and just make it for nothing. Now, the good news for Bear Lake here, ball is placed on the 37-yard line on their own side of the field. This is the best punt position that they have had on the field, and it's still not good territory, but it's the best punt position they've had.
Maybe a chance to flip the field, and you go back to that other punt earlier, right, that went out of bounds at the 49 when really it ran all the way down inside the 25, just barely it hit out of bounds. Maybe a chance here to flip the field because, like you said, North Fremont's had amazing field position the entire game, virtually starting in their own in Bear Lake territory every time. This punt is good. It's going to land at the 33, still rolling inside the 25, and Bear Lake picked it up. That might have still rolled.
It might have. I think it picked up around the 22, but it ended up being a good punt. Again, their punter is good. In fact, the botched one that ended up being a punt return for 6 yards for a touchdown was actually not the punter's fault. The ball was snapped over his head. He went back to get it. He just made the most out of what he could do. Unfortunately, he'd have probably been better off just going down in that scenario. But it was a bad snap again. They're fortunate to get that off.
Hey, Valley Office Systems, they're proud to support both of these school districts, the North Fremont Huskies and Bear Lake. I think they also they service a lot of school districts around the state with office supplies and systems needs. So thanks, Valley Office Systems. Here on 1st and 10, 2:30 to go. They're going to do a halfback pass here as North Fremont going down, and this one's going to go out of bounds. Probably the best thing for that ball is he threw it into double coverage here on the near sideline. That wasn't going to go anywhere.
Well, Victor Wembanyama wasn't tall enough to stay in bounds and lean out and grab that.
That ball was way out of bounds, and if it was in bounds, it's 2 against 1 in favor of Bear Lake on that throw.
Boy, Victor Wembanyama had a chance to watch him a couple times already this year. Boy, what a special talent he is with the San Antonio Spurs. Ball handling skills. I haven't seen a talent like that since Ralph Sampson back in the day, and this kid's even a better shooter, but that's beside the point.
He is phenomenal. 2nd and 10. Here's a handoff up the middle. They've got some room to run across the 30, first down and more, down to the 35-yard line. This time number 34, Andrew Martin. Nice run there up the right side of the field, and he's got a first down.
Well, and Rhett Lloyd's in on that tackle. And the thing is, here you've got Lloyd, and you're expecting a lot out of him as quarterback. And really, he's taken a lot of hits defensively as well because those runs are getting into the secondary almost every single time. And he's having to come up and make a number of those tackles, And if you want your kid to be able to pass the ball, you got to get your line tackling a little bit better.
Here's a handoff up the middle, and they roll forward. I mean, just right under behind center and pick up about 4 yards that time for Bone.
Not sure which side judge they're going to go with. Now they've both stepped back to the 39. One of them was up on the 40, the other one on the 39. But again, we talk about what does North Fremont do? I mean, how many big plays have we seen from North Fremont offensively? We just haven't. It's just chip, and then all of a sudden they catch you off with a pass to Win or to Bone or someone,
That's right.
And that's who they are. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a 2A team that knows more who they are than they do.
Here's a handoff up the middle on 2nd and 5. Still on his feet is Bone. He's got the first down to the 46-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. North Fremont going to have to hurry up here. 1:25 to go till the halftime break.
That's the first time we've called Bone's name since the first possession of quarter number 2, and they ran had that 16-yard pass, 17-yard reception rather, over the top. They missed the extra point.
Ball here on the near hash. 1:15 to go. 30-0. North Fremont on top. North Fremont has about a little over 50 yards to go here to pay dirt. This time they'll pitch it on the option, and the ball is down on the ground. It goes out of bounds way behind the line of scrimmage. They're going to lose, about 7-8 yards. The far side judge is way off. He's near the 43-yard line. Now he's back to the 39.
Yeah, I think they're going to be at the 39 is where they're going to be. But as it is, it's going to be a second. It's going to be a 2nd and 18 on the play. And but you know what? This is what you'll see about North Fremont. They don't panic in these kind of situations. You know what? They're going to do something that's just them. Let's just be consistent, stay with who we are, because really when you think about it, in 4-down sets, they're picking up pretty much this amount of yards anyway.
2nd and 18. They're going to roll left, looking to throw. They've got a man at the 40 and just out of reach. Intended receiver was Cutter Bowman. And he just was maybe a step behind that pass. It's going to be 3rd and 18.
I wondered if maybe Bowman lost sight of the ball because he didn't reach out for it. He didn't reach out for it. And it looked like it kind of fell right into where he was. And now I think you're in a sure passing situation here on 4th and long.
Yeah, 30-0, just 54 seconds to go. Sure, North Fremont would love to punch it in one second. 3rd and 18. They are going to send a man way to the left side. Roy Wynn is far out for the Huskies. Here's the snap. They fake it. Now they pitch it left side. Some room to run across midfield and down to the 45. This makes it a much more manageable 4th down. It's going to be 4th and about 3. The Huskies call a timeout with 44 seconds to go till halftime.
Yeah, and the thing is, the Huskies will go for it in this scenario. They don't have any benefit by punting in this point of the second half, of the second quarter. 30-0 is your score. They're going to go for it. This is kind of the no man's land anyway for high school football. You're out of field goal range, but you're close enough to the point where a punt doesn't really benefit you that much.
It doesn't, but I tell you what benefits you is Fall River Propane. They serve eastern Idaho from Shelley to Firth and all the way to Island Park and the Teton Valley with the highest quality, hottest burning propane at competitive prices. Their industry-trained, certified staff services all makes and models of propane fireplaces and stoves. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or call anytime. Their new phone number is 833-682-3671. Again, that's 833-682-3671. Fall River Propane, experience the difference. Finally, Gateway Park in Idaho Falls is bringing the mountain to town this winter season. Gateway Parks is a new tubing hill in Idaho Falls located right by Ryder Park on Sunnyside Road, close to the freeway. It snows every day at Gateway Park. Great for families, kids, youth groups. Everyone will have a fun time at Eastern Idaho's newest tubing adventure.
Bring your kids down this winter, Logan, and we'll take our families there. Of course, for you, it'll be your kids. For me, it'll be my grandkids.
Sold. Sold, Lance. 4th down. Here it is for North Fremont. Big play. They'll pitch it right side. Room to run. They get the edge in. The 1st down across the 40 and down close to the 45 or 35-yard line will be Bone and a 1st down for Bear Lake.
Bone only had one man to beat at the line, and it was Rhett Lloyd. And he could have cut to the inside or gone to the outside, so he fakes the inside, runs to the outside, and ends up beating Bone on that. Now with 33 seconds remaining under center and just spiking the ball, North Fremont.
So 2nd down, they're going to call a timeout here while they wait. That'll give us a chance to thank Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. They offer a wide array of services, including physicians' clinics, emergency care, home health, dialysis, physical therapy, orthopedic surgery, weight loss surgery, and much more. To get more information, visit blmhospital.com or call 847-1630 today. Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, proud to support Bear Lake Athletics. 31 seconds to go here till halftime. It's 2nd and 10 here for North Fremont. They'll hand it off left side. No, they pitch it now, keeping it up the left side and getting to the 30-yard line. And a quick timeout here for North Fremont. It'll be 3rd and 5.
And this is going to be the last timeout for North Fremont, so they're probably, for the most part, going to have to pass from here on out. They really like to go to either the corner of the end zone with Wynn or like to go right down the middle with Bone. Either one of them are good receivers. And, Jed Hill, you don't see him throw the ball a lot because they run that veer, but when he throws it, he's an accurate passer. He is a very, very good quarterback. In fact, he's the kind of kid that I wouldn't be surprised to see a kid like that end up at maybe a military school, like Army or Navy or Air Force even, because that's athletes, and North Fremont's been putting them out in droves, particularly over the last about 5, 6, 7 years. Don't forget, folks, basketball coming up right around the corner. girls basketball, of course, is about 2 weeks ahead of the boys. They just had tryouts this week.
Yeah,
girls
it's crazy.
basketball in the state. And
usually there's a game like, right after state football ends, or maybe that weekend of state football. So you can see some girls basketball going on in 1 week.
Well, and you get, like for boys basketball, the week that the state championship games are taking place is the tryout week for basketball. So some schools, if they make it late into the playoffs, it puts
back.
a little bit of a quandary. And sometimes they're using their rumble games or whatever they call them. They get several schools together. They use those sometimes as part of their tryouts.
Third down pass, and this one is intercepted by Bear Lake at the 10-yard line, down all the way to the 25. They got some room to run. A flag flies down to the 35, across the 40, and Bear Lake's going to take this back to the house. Rhett Lloyd is going to take it 90 yards into the end zone, but it's going to come back. There's a flag down in 1 second on the clock, Lance. That was a great return and what Bear Lake needed going into the half. North Fremont had a receiver fall down, and it's all going to come back.
Well, and North Fremont fans were booing, calling for a pass interference. It wasn't a pass interference. Both guys were running.
They just ran into each
other.
And
their legs just got caught up down on the bottom. It wasn't a bad defensive play. It was great by Lloyd to pick that off. And he brought it back, but you had the holding, and then, of course, you had another holding right up here. And the official, he threw his flag for the one, so he didn't have a flag left for the second one, so he threw his hat down.
Yeah.
To remind him that there was a second one just in case.
And the flag, what it's for, is a blindside block, and that's too bad because Lloyd took that one all the way back 90 yards.
Well, and you hit it right there with hitting somebody. That's what you're told. When you go out on special teams, you don't ever go out there on special teams without hitting somebody.
Right.
You are hitting somebody. Just got to make sure it's within the rules.
So it's going to be first down. The Bears are going to have one play here before the half.
What a fantastic run by Lloyd. Rhett Lloyd just did everything he could on that, and most of the blocks were good. And it was just a couple.
He started on the right side of the field, got in some traffic, and bounced it out here to the near side. One final play for Bear Lake. They'll send 3 receivers up top, keep one here near side. One man back there with Lloyd who's got to be catching his breath, and Lloyd loses the ball. He's going to be sacked. Bobbled the snap, and he's going to go down. That could have been a lot worse, Lance, if that ball were to get away from him. It goes down, and that ends the first half of play. After one, North Fremont leads it 30-0. Let's thank a couple great local sponsors before we hit the halftime break. Baxter Funeral Home in Ashton. They're a full-service funeral home with a focus on traditional service offerings. They understand how difficult it can be when your family experiences a loss. Their professional and dedicated staff will walk you through every step of the process, helping you create a unique service that best fits your values and need. Located at 717 Main Street in Ashton, they are honored to service your funeral needs. Find out more by visiting BaxterFH.com. Proud to support the Huskies. Good luck tonight. Finally, Tonjes, Brizey, and Orem dental offices make visits enjoyable and positive with 2 convenient locations at St. Anthony and Ashton. Budget-friendly payments and family dentistry offered at such a great value. The offices of Tonjes, Brizey, and Orem really is such a wonderful place to make your entire family's dental home. Tonjes, Brizey, and Orem, caring family dentists. Wishing the boys good luck here in today's game. Good luck, Huskies. Finally, Big Judd's in Ashton. Their home-style burgers are made with fresh ingredients every day. Their meat is never pre-made or frozen. The challenge is on when you order their world-famous 1-pound or 2-pound burger challenges. But if you order the Man vs. Food burger, all bets are off. Not a burger fan, Big Judd's has chicken sandwiches, salads, finger steaks, and more. You'll find something for everyone at Big Judd's. Open at 11 o'clock Monday through Saturday. They're always ready to serve you. Located at 1370 Highway 20 in Ashton. Or you can visit BigJuds.com. That makes me a little bit hungry.
Well, it does, and Judd is one of my very best friends.
There you go, Lance. Who isn't your friend,
Judd
Lance?
Nieder. We've worked together quite a bit, and I always say if you ever see Judd in a dark alley, you're going to run the other way. He's got a beard that goes down to his waist. He's hair in a ponytail in the back. Judd Nieder is one of the kindest individuals you'll ever meet on this planet. Just a great, great man. And great food. Oh, my goodness.
It is. Well, thanks for supporting the broadcast. We've got a couple of other great sponsors we'll get to later. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the Launch Idaho halftime report right after this.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
This is not what I asked for.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Give the gift of college savings this holiday season with Ideal, Idaho's 529 college savings program. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
I love it. Thank you.
College costs money.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota. Let's go places.
I am Kevin, and I'm from Idaho Falls. It's important for the disabled to be vaccinated because of COVID. I chose to be vaccinated because I didn't want to be sick or in the hospital. Getting the vaccination, my experience was painless and worth it. It was a very wise choice.
Former regional champ and back in training.
That's commitment.
Ow!
Oh, tough start. This is not as easy as it used to be, folks. And go again.
It's literally the home stretch. Whoa!
She made it. Feel the elation.
What fuels that kind of fire?
Idaho Sports Nation, Ideal, Idaho's education savings program, is a proud partner of IdahoSports.com and an ideal way to save for college. Did you know it only takes $25 to start an Ideal 529 savings account and you get tax benefits? There is no better time than today to start saving for college expenses for you or for a loved one. Information and a full disclosure statement, including risks, terms, and conditions, can be found online. Please read carefully before investing. idsaves.org. Go save for college and go Idaho student athletes.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Dear Detour, you asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong. Toyota trucks.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Folks, I've got good news and bad news. Bad news? You just took that selfie with poison ivy. Good news, someone gets to use their coverage from Your Health Idaho. Quality coverage for as low as $0 a month.
We do things differently in Idaho. Sometimes we go east to find west, where muddy trails meet huckleberry smiles. Stars shine electric, belts strapped and dreams packed. No distractions, no phones, focused. From here to there, it's who we are.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Idaho Launch Halftime Show. Did you know current Idaho high school seniors are eligible for up to $8,000 in grant money? Apply today. Idaho Launch. Support in every direction. Just a little bit more background on this Idaho Launch program. It's for Idaho high school seniors graduating next spring, and they're eligible for up to $8,000 in grant money for career training and job education through Idaho Launch. Funds can be used to cover the cost of apprenticeships, job training, community college, and university programs that lead to in-demand careers. This gives everybody the chance, the one-time opportunity to have 80% of the tuition covered at one of these eligible institutions for up to a maximum amount of $8,000. There's approximately $70 million available in the funding, so there's somewhere between 9,000 and 10,000 awards that are able to be awarded. And I think I did the math somewhere, and there can't be more than 15,000 seniors in Idaho high school right now. So that's 2/3. And, not all of them are going to go somewhere immediately, or they already have something lined up. So if you're a high school senior, you have a very good chance at punching this through. So the way you can apply is, again, the qualifications are to be a graduate of the class of 2024 from an Idaho high school, homeschool, or GED, be an Idaho resident, be enrolled in or have applied to an eligible Idaho institution, begin enrollment by fall semester after graduation, and complete a career pathway plan at nextsteps.idaho.gov. Funds are limited, and the deadline for the priority application is this month. It's November 30th, so be sure to apply as soon as possible. Again, it's nextsteps.idaho.gov/launch, or we have banners all over the website. Just click on one of those, and you'll go straight there. You don't need to type anything in. Just go back to our homepage. You will see a link somewhere. If you don't see it, just hit refresh, and you'll come up there again. So thanks to Idaho Launch for doing that, and busy first half for the Huskies, 30 points on the board, Lance.
Yeah, and a lot of them just came off, a number of mistakes that, the Bear Lake was making. There was only one possession that North Fremont had where they had to go the majority of the field to score. Everything else was a short field, and then on top of that, you have the botched punt that ends up in a 6-yard punt return. And again, I don't know if I've ever seen a stat like that, a 6-yard punt return. Again, we've seen block punts down in there that somebody jumps on. But a true punt that somebody returns 6 yards for a touchdown, I don't think I've ever seen that. That wasn't the punter's fault in that scenario. The ball had been snapped over his head. He was just in frenzy mode, just trying to do anything that he could do. But, to start the scoring out, it came at the 4:36 mark. It was a 5-yard run, moved them out 8-0. Jacob Hill with the great 2-point conversion off of the nice option play from Jed Hill. In the second quarter, the 10:50 mark, 17-yard reception. That was to Bone. 2-point conversion failed that time and moved the score to 14-0, 9:39 mark of quarter number 2. It was the 6-yard punt return that we talked about, and they did make the extra point on that. 22-0. It was Jacob Hill with Jed Hill with the extra point. And then at the 5:28 mark, you had the 1-yard run, Jacob Hill, and then Jed Hill again for the 2-point conversion. Jacob Hill on that possession carried the ball every single time except for one, and I was glad they rewarded him with the touchdown.
Right, yeah. It's, doing all the dirty work, might as well get the reward.
Yeah, he did a great job on that, and that's what we talk about with North Fremont. They're not having to pound the same guys every single time. Sometimes it's Bone for a stretch. Sometimes it's Martin for a stretch. Sometimes it's Jed Hill ends up keeping it. Sometimes it's Jacob Hill. They've just got so many guys that can hurt you in so many different ways. And then you throw Wynn into that mix, a great receiver. We haven't called his name yet as far as the reception goes today. I have an idea we will before the end of this game.
I think so, too. I think eventually they're going to get it going. Bear Lake just can't not continue to do this, you would think, right? That they'll eventually find a way.
Well, when you think of what Bear Lake has done, first of all, Bear Lake has not been on North Fremont's half of the field the entire game. Not one time have they been across the 50-yard line. They had a couple opportunities, but were unable to do so. But, they threw the interception on their first possession, which ended up, in a touchdown in the ensuing drive by North Fremont. They ended up throwing an interception again, but part of it was just getting tackled in the backfield. 4 times they tried to run that little sweep to the outside, kind of a modified sweep to the outside. All 4 of them they got brought down for losses on. Their passes downfield have been kind of looping passes. They did have one that was dead on, that had bounced off the receiver's chest.
Right.
Right now, from where we sit, I don't know if Bear Lake can do what it takes to come back in this ball game. I just don't know if right now they got the players that can do that in this particular ball game. And on top of that, North Fremont might be the toughest team in 2A to come back on because they can control the clock so well with their side of the ball.
They can. I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to keep it on the ground. And you just got to think it, maybe not come back, but get something going. You know, Bear Lake won a state championship a year ago. You just got to think they're not going to go out like this, that they want to try something. And it's going to be tough because the cards are stacked against them. Down 30 points, and then you've got to go on defense to start the second half. That's going to be tough. I was listening to the 8-man prepcast on the way over here today that we do on our website. And, Coach Kirkland there at Cary for many years, he said he felt comfortable at a 30-point lead. That's where you start to feel comfortable. And North Fremont's got to feel at least pretty good with where they're at right now. That doesn't mean they're going to come out and lay off, but they've got to feel good at where they're at. And this is a tough team, and the winner of this game is going to play the winner of the Aberdeen Westside game.
Yeah.
That doesn't get any easier from here for whoever moves on.
No, it doesn't. Both those teams are conference opponents for Bear Lake, by the way. Aberdeen and Westside coming out of that District 5 SEIC conference. But, and talking about the 8-man football, you're talking about Cary being up by 30. That might not even be comfortable in the 8-man division. We saw 110 points put up this year from one of the 8-man teams.
Crazy.
And so it's not uncommon to see super high-scoring games. In fact, I'll tell you right now, if you have never watched 8-man football, you are missing out. 8-man football is some of the funnest football you will ever lay eyes on. 8-man football is fantastic. It's fun to watch. You remove 6 total men off the field, 3 on each side, and it's amazing how big that 100-yard field is. 55 from side to side and then 100, in your length. It's crazy.
You don't really notice it as it's going. It's when, a player gets away and you're like, man, they scored so easily.
No one's there.
It's because there's nobody there to stop them.
Well, you think of those years like when Leighton Vander Esch, of course, the great linebacker right now, is out with an injury for the Dallas Cowboys. Wishing him well. He had a little bit of a neck pinch. It was the week after the 49ers game, which was kind of a debacle for the boys. But Vander Esch is very good. He was the quarterback on those teams, that took state for Salmon River, and it's just there's some good football played at that level. Very good football.
You look at some of the most successful NFL players from the state of Idaho. They've come from the 8-man level. Obviously, you got Taysom Hill. Okay, we got that. But you look at Leighton Vander Esch, right? You got Matt Paradis, who played at Council.
Yeah.
And all of us, he was a starter for years in the NFL. You also look at Jordan Gross, played for Fruitland, who's not an 8-man school, but they were a 2A school at the time when he was there, I believe. And he was a phenomenal.
Which was the first level of 11-man.
And he played for the best team in the NFL. I mean, you can't get any better than playing for the Carolina Panthers.
Of course, there's been some good players that come out of Idaho. Of course, Jake Palmer, Capital High School, out of Boise there. Merrill Hodge, whose name's up here on the wall.
Right,
at Idaho State University. Of course, he was a Highland High School product, as was Taysom Hill. There's been some great athletes that have come out of Idaho. We're not a hugely populated state. But from a percentage standpoint, from the number of athletes we do have, we stack up with anybody as far as number of athletes versus number of population. So we're very proud here of the athletes. Of course, next year we go to a 6A division, and pretty much everybody stays the same. Your teams down here, North Fremont, Bear Lake, their current division will be 3A next year. It's 2A this year. Of course, Bear Lake will move up to 4A because they were going to make the jump to 3A next year, which will be the 4A.
It'll look a little more dramatic than it is.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, before we start the second half, let's thank Grand Peaks. They're your community health center, and they're proud to support their local student athletes and keep them healthy on the road to the state title. Grand Peaks, located in St. Anthony and Rexburg, provides medical, dental, behavioral health, and pharmacy services for the entire family. Their healthcare professionals and staff are highly trained and experienced in all areas of primary medicine, obstetrics, family dentistry, behavioral health, and prescription services. Grand Peaks is committed to establishing a personal relationship with each patient and providing affordable health care for your family. Visit grandpeaks.org online for a full list of services. Good luck, Huskies, from the entire staff at Grand Peaks Medical.
I can actually give them a personal shout-out because that's where me and my family go.
It's the best when we can do that. I love when I talk to people, some of our great sponsors, and say, I love to share my personal experiences there. And, always adds a great touch. So here we go, second half about to get underway. Bear Lake will kick it off from left to right, and there's the kick. It's going to be caught at the 7-yard line. North Fremont will return it from there. Up close to the 25-yard line before finally being wrapped up and brought down for the Huskies. Number 1, Roy Wynn on the return up the left hash.
Yeah, Martin Gonzalez with the tackle out there. Excellent play by Gonzalez. You know, Gonzalez is a name that we should have been calling a lot on the offensive side of the ball tonight. We just haven't had much to call for Bear Lake, you know. And of course, I'll have some shout-outs from some Bear Lake fans. I love Bear Lake. I love Montpelier. I grew up in Malad, or at least did my high school years in Malad. Grew up in southern Utah. But you know, we'll get those shout-outs, and sometimes people say, well, you weren't saying much good for our team. Well, you got 30 points dropped on you in the first half. You know, there wasn't as much good to say, and it's not we never want to sound like we're ripping on a team or an athlete. They're doing what they can. They're just up against a great North Fremont team.
We have no Husky or Bear in this fight,
no,
so to say.
No.
And I got that comment once in a game, and that I didn't say enough positive things, and it was like 75-10. Like, how are you I would love to say more, but I'm limited in what I can do. There's a discussion on the field. That's what's taking so long. The officials are talking, and they're going back and forth, and now they're having another conference and throwing a new football out here.
Yeah, that's what it was. They had a Bear Lake football out there. Of course, each team uses their own footballs.
Can't
use
use that football.
And I think they got up there, and the center went to snap, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't our football.
I don't like this.
Let me go over. Of course, all footballs are the same size, but, you know, you get used to your own, and so that's what they do.
Jed Hill hands it off. The ball is down. I think Bear Lake has it. A quick fumble, and Lance, we've seen that's the 4th time North Fremont's put the ball on the ground, and eventually it was going to come back to bite them. And if you're Bear Lake, you could not have scripted this any better. Just 12 seconds off the clock, and now you have the ball at the 26-yard line.
Well, and this is the best field position you've had all day long. So you got to make something out of it. Even if it's a field goal, you got to make something out of this. But this is what we talked about, and I talked about it before the game in our pregame. If there was one weakness that North Fremont has, is they tend to be turnover prone, and they tend to do it a bit on special teams. You know, which can oftentimes give teams really good field position.
Make it worse. So Bear Lake's going to come out in the shotgun, twins to either side. Gonzalez to the right of Lloyd. Man in motion, Lloyd looks to throw. Lloyd drops the ball, rolls to his left, floats it over left side to Flake, and Flake gets maybe back. We're going to say he loses a yard on the reception, so it's going to be 2nd down and 11 here.
Yeah, well, that drop by Lloyd in the backfield, that cost you a full second. And people can move a long ways in 1 second, especially your defenders out there on the field. You know the name Flake, I lived in Arizona for a while. The name Flake is big down there. Of course, you have the city called Snowflake in Arizona. Most people think it's because of the snow, but it's not. It's because of the family who was Snow, and the family's last name is Flake. They're the ones that settled that area.
Put them together. Here's a keeper up the middle, this time for Lloyd. He bounces left side, tries to find something, picks up about 4 yards. That's down to the 23-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 7, 3rd and manageable here for Bear Lake. The Bears, they have got to score. You would think here it's 4-down territory. In this position of the field that they're going to try and get these points. And you know what? If they score this quickly, all of a sudden it's, you know what? We're not saying they're going to come back, but it makes it a lot different of a story.
That's right. They're not completely out of this by any stretch. I mean, you and I have been around the game long enough.
No, sorry, the 14-yard line. Getting all mixed up here, and a 1st down across the middle for the Bears.
Well, they come out and they're looking different in the second half. They came out with a little bit of chip on their shoulder for what happened in the first half. They gave up more points in the first half than they gave up the whole game to North Fremont to start the season.
Right.
And so, you know, if you're Bear Lake in this, come out, take advantage of this. And that 1st down play where Lloyd ran it, or the 2nd down play where he ran it, that could have been for a loss, and he got some yards out of it.
Lloyd will keep it up the right side. He gets maybe a yard down to the 20. He gets back to the line of scrimmage there at the 14-yard line and not much else. It was a designed quarterback run. He thought about going up the middle, bounced it out to the right side, but nowhere to go.
Yeah, and I think that play more than anything was to get it towards the right hash mark to set up the pass over to the far side from where we are. They're going left to right, as we call it, and you hear it. And so they'd be going far side corner. I wouldn't be surprised to see him target Levi Stonehouse here over towards the corner.
So here we go. 2nd and 10 after the run for no gain. Trips receivers here to the near side. Ball is right in the middle of the hash marks. There's the snap. Lloyd looking left side, still looking left, rolls left, throws left, and it is incomplete. A diving throw to the end zone or a throw to the end zone, a diving catching attempt. I can't get my words out there.
It was Stonehouse. That's exactly what I called right before that play. Each time they've gone over to the right hash mark or near the right hash mark, that's the play that they've done. Afterwards.
And it was a good play. The throw was just a little bit outside. If that was maybe up a little bit closer, they might be able to get it in there. So now it's 3rd and 10, 9:08 to go in the third quarter. Bear Lake knocking on the door, ball on the 14-yard line. Everybody in tight this time. Lloyd's going to roll right, looking to throw it. He throws across his body. It's caught, and right down at the 5. It's going to be 4th and inches here.
What a fantastic pass by Rhett Lloyd, running to the right. He's a left-hander. Had to pull it back, and that could not have been more on a frozen rope than he threw it.
And he was, like you said, left hand throws it across his body as the receiver was going the same direction and somehow threaded the needle, and it's going to be 4th and very short. In Paris, they are your best choice to be your electrical contractor for new construction, remodel, and even commercial projects. Proud to support the Bear Lake High School student athletes. Go Bears. Need help with bookkeeping, personal business tax returns, or payroll? The folks at Gary H. Tusher. See Gary in Montpelier at 110 North 8th Street. Gary Tusher and his staff are proud supporters of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck this weekend to the Bears. Finally, Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. They offer a wide array of services, including physicians' clinics, emergency care, home health, dialysis, physical therapy, orthopedic surgery, weight loss surgery, and much, much more. To get more information, visit blmhospital.com. Bear Lake Memorial Hospital is a proud supporter of Bear Lake Athletics.
They got some good 1A D1, 1A D2 games coming up in the playoffs. That's the 8-man football bracket we were talking about. You got a Kendrick team that everybody has their eyes on. You got a great Oakley team. Oakley's only lost this year. Came to Kendrick. Of course, they're in different divisions, D2 and D1.
Kendrick handled them in that game. The score looked a little closer than it actually was. So here's the 4th down play, and they roll it out. They're going to throw it. They've got a man at the goal line. It's caught and in for a touchdown. Caden Anderson caught it at the goal line on the left side.
The adjustments at halftime, if you're North Fremont going into the half, you might say, let's clear up a couple things like the fumbles and things like that. But other than that, North Fremont, from a strategy standpoint, you're saying we're going to go do the same thing until they prove they can stop it.
Right.
Well, they proved once now they could stop it, and they also proved they could score on them. So
now North Fremont has given up their first score of the game on a turnover. Bear Lake's going to go for 2 here. Everybody out wide. 3 receivers up top, 1 down low. Alone is Lloyd. Lloyd looking to throw across and knocked away. Good defensive play there by Carson Bone. Bone knocked it away from the receiver right in the middle of the field, and the attempt fails. It stays 30-6. Bear Lake trails North Fremont. Pocock Trucking is based in Sugar City, Idaho, but sends trucks all over the western United States and Canada. Pocock Trucking is a full-service shop, and that means we do everything. They haul bulk commodities like feed, fertilizer, grain, and potatoes. They offer minor shop repairs and have a full-service lube bay. They grow potatoes, dairy-quality alfalfa, and more. They can even sell you a used truck if you need one. Pocock Trucking's main office is in Sugar City with their truck shop located in St. Anthony. Visit PocockTrucking.com for more information, and proud to support North Fremont Athletics. St. Anthony Motors, you can get $10 oil changes for life with the purchase of any new or pre-owned vehicle. St. Anthony Motors services all makes and models. Their service department loves servicing Southeast Idaho with professional and expert customer service. Come in today and talk with their amazing sales team to find this perfect vehicle for your needs. You'll find it at St. Anthony Motors. Everything is just a tad less.
Pocock Trucking, always so good to step up. They're one of our perennial sponsors every year.
Never
every
a
year.
question.
And then there a couple summers ago, we did a charity golf tournament to raise money for a family who was losing a child and ended up ultimately losing their child down at Primary Children's Hospital. It didn't even take 5 seconds for them to say, we'll give you what you need. What do you need?
That's awesome. So this kickoff is going to roll. Line drive kick, chops up at the 15 and rolls out of the back of the end zone. So the first touchback of the day, ball will come out to the 20-yard line. North Fremont will take over there. And really, the last kickoff, North Fremont started at the 25. That was their worst field position of the day. They go out and they fumble. This time they're at the 20. And you know what? If North Fremont does not hold on to the ball, it's already changed once, one score on the board. If it happens one more time, Bear Lake's going to start waking.
Pretty much the full length of the field to score a touchdown on.
1st and 10, 8:20 to go here in the third quarter. This handoff's going to come around here to the near side in the middle. 1st down and more across the 35 for North Fremont. Ball carrier number 1, Roy Wynn, came out from that outside wide receiver spot, took it inside up the middle for a big 1st down.
Yeah, the speedy receiver Wynn, who's also, their punt and kickoff returner as well. And again, you didn't run Bone, you didn't run Martin, you didn't run Jacob Hill. You didn't keep it with Jet Hill. And who do you do? Now you throw in a Wynn. They just got so many players that can hurt you all the time. And really, Wynn was 12 yards down the field before he was even touched.
1st down again, and Wynn's going to get it on a handoff this time the right side, and he is tripped up. He was in the air trying to leap over a defender, gets tripped up, but still picks up 8 yards.
Yeah, and they ultimately ripped him off about a yard on this. Both side judges were far behind. It was a good tackle to get him down. Otherwise, he could have gone out for, if they wouldn't have got him on that tackle, he probably had about another 10 yards before the next defender was going to have a shot at him.
So 2nd down, we'll call it 2nd and 3 here for North Fremont. Again, it's the same formation every time this bunch set. They go up the middle and going to go all the way for a touchdown across the 30, across the 20, across the 10, 5. Touchdown, literally untouched, is Jacob Hill.
Yeah, he didn't get touched till he was 5 yards into the end zone, and Lloyd kind of patted him on the back and said, good job.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely untouched through the hole there. Just through the line, absolutely. I mean, you could see it a mile away, and he was off to the races for a quick touchdown. That one, geez, what about 56 yards on that touchdown run? And that's the big play that you talked about North Fremont not having, that they've just chipped away. And right there, they get a big play on the board, 36-6.
Well, and when you have a team that's running that veer like they're doing, what does that do to your linebackers and your corners? Well, that pulls them in tight, and your safety, which makes it, if you have a guy that breaks into that secondary, there's nobody there waiting for him. Great 2-point conversion. This one goes over to Wynn, who had to reach clear back across his body. The pass was behind him, and he ends up catching it. Well, and if you're Bear Lake, this is one thing you can't do. Talked about North Fremont running that veer offense. Again, it's kind of like that triple option on that. You got one of your guys does a dive course, kind of a three-man head on that. You got one does a pitch course and one with a block on that. And, that time they ended up going right up the middle. It was Jacob Hill, the senior, and he ends up scoring untouched in the end zone. And, again, when you run that veer, you bring the defense up so close on that if somebody does get through, there is just nobody waiting.
Yeah, if you bunch them all in, we talked about the 8-man game where if you get through, you're bound to find some open space, and they did right there. Like you said, that veer brings them in, and it'll let you open things up a little more. Let's thank Valley Office Systems. Again, they are proud to support both of these schools, Bear Lake and North Fremont. They provide office supplies, systems, things like that for a lot of school districts around Idaho, a lot of businesses around Idaho. So if you're a business, Olson there, he's the head basketball coach at Shelley. Good guy.
Super good guy.
So North Fremont will boot it away from right to left, and Bear Lake will receive it. This one going to go over the head at the 5 and out the back of the end zone.
Yeah, we've had a lot of kicks today that have gone through the end zone. None of them have gone through there in the air. But they'll be Flake, and
just nothing there.
No, there wasn't. However, they ended up with about 4 yards out of that play, 3.5, 4 yards. These are the things I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they practice it or not. I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it'd be a good idea to see Bear Lake maybe run a little wing T. That was a misdirection play right there. And if you just go straight into those defensive linemen, North Fremont, you're not going anywhere.
No.
But if you can do some misdirection and make them chase you, now there's some things that you can do a little different.
2nd and about 7. Here, this one's intercepted by North Fremont, and a wall of blockers on the left side. He's going to get horse collared down. Surprised they didn't throw a flag there, but that one's picked off by number 42, Cutter Bowman. Picked it off at about the 30-yard line and takes it inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, Huskies.
The junior, Logan Keach, saved that from being a touchdown as he went down. And, yeah, it looked like he must have just got uniforms.
Jersey,
Yeah, the players weren't complaining, and the official, was
closer than we were.
A lot closer than we were, so he must have got it. But he saved that touchdown. What a great interception by Cutter Bowman. We've called Cutter's name a number of times tonight, every time for something positive.
And that was one where he jumped up. He had to leap and caught it at his high point. So 1st and goal here, North Fremont. They're going to hand it off up the middle. Nope, left side, and going to go in for a touchdown. Again, untouched until in the end zone. This time the ball carrier, number 25, Tegan Sessions. He punches it in for 6, and Bear Lake now trails 44-6. Just like that. I mean, it was 2 plays on offense for Bear Lake. They turned the ball over, and it just took 1 play for North Fremont to punch it in. And I tell you what, right now, I don't think anybody wants to play this North Fremont team.
No, North Fremont, a very, very good team. Westside, they often play each other, didn't play each other this year in regular season. Declo, they've oftentimes played each other, didn't play each other this season. However, they did play on Declo's stadium this year. That's where the Melba game took
Right,
place.
they met halfway. And here's the pitch for the conversion, and leaning into the defender and plowing through is Bone on the right side, and he gets it in, and all of a sudden now 40-point lead for the Huskies here with 6:11 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah. Now, my understanding is in postseason play that you do not have the mercy rule unless 2 coaches agree to it before the game. And I don't think this is a game that anybody thought was going to be this type of a game. I think most people, if you were laying money down in Vegas, and let me disclaim, I don't gamble,
No.
but if you're laying money down in Vegas, you're putting it on North Fremont. But nobody thought it would be like this.
No, I don't think anybody anticipated a 40-point game halfway through the third quarter. And I think, you look at the 2A tournament is very tough. I think there's a lot of tournaments are tough, but you look at the top, Westside, Bear Lake, or if we look at the top 3.
Westside, North Fremont. Yeah.
You look at those 3, gosh, it's just loaded up there. And
then you got Nampa
good.
Christian and Melba.
Yeah, it just and again, Nampa Christian beat Melba a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Melba beat North Fremont. It's not a given that Declo's just going to roll over whoever they play.
Well, and you got to remember Declo and Westside earlier in the year came to a 2-point ball game or a 1-point ball game. Pardon me. And so that's, it's not a given. And in fact, I came into this game today thinking Bear Lake had a pretty good shot at winning it because they have improved a lot throughout the year. They're just not playing like it today.
So they'll return this kick and up to the 25 and trying to get the edge. They do down to the 28. Ran a long way to pick up a few extra yards, and a couple of guys down out of bounds after that play.
Yeah, Flake is one of them. He carried it, and Flake has been limping most of the second half, and you could see him limping back to the huddle right now too.
And sometimes you see this when a guy is just doing everything for a team like Flake has been so far today for Bear Lake on offense at least. Sometimes you just start to get worn out when you do that. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bears. Ball is going to be at the 20. They're going to, gave them a great spot down to the 29-yard line, 1st and 10 there.
You see a lot more players on the sidelines in their uniforms during postseason than you do during the regular season because they'll move a lot of these players up. 16 freshmen are dressing for Bear Lake, and that's awesome to be able to give them this experience in the state tournament. You got to win in the state tournament too.
And Lloyd drifts back, and that one almost intercepted. It went through the hands of, once again, Cutter Bowman, and then almost picked up by Owen Reed behind the play. And that was 2 different players, or if they get 2 hands on that, Lance, there's 6 more points on the board.
Yeah, that would have been a pick 6. There would have been no defenders there because Lloyd went down on the play. In fact, Jacob Hill was awfully close to maybe a roughing the passer on that particular play. He had started his engagement right before it released. I think that's the thing that saved it there. But, yeah, you hit it. If they'd have caught that or intercepted it, that would have been a pick 6.
So it's going to be 2nd down, 2nd and 10, and Bear Lake will take the 2nd and 10 after what could have been. Here's the play. They're going to do a shovel pass. That was an interesting play. Lloyd did a shovel pass, but not up the middle. He shoved it over here to the near sideline and shoved it to Anderson, and Anderson ended up losing 4 yards.
Well, and what do we see? We see another play out to the far side, out wide, and another loss on the down. That's why, maybe some misdirection or things like that. Again, I don't know if that's part of their arsenal, if they practice that or not. But I think in this scenario that you've got to have that, and we've got a player that's down. The player that's down is Cutter Bowman, and I saw his father turn from the huddle and just throw his hands down in frustration, like, oh, this might be.
Yeah, it looks like, oh no, and we got a hat being thrown. Is that his dad? They look very frustrated. Yeah. It looks like a lower body injury.
Yep. It looked like the player, it was on the tackle there when they pitched the ball out, and it looked like as he dove for the pitch, he had to dive for the pitch to catch it. It looks like he just kind of caught the lower body of Bowman. Bowman, a senior on this team. He's a tight end as well as being a linebacker, 6'2", 180 senior.
Well, while he's down, let's thank some of our sponsors quickly, and hopefully we'll see Bowman pop up quickly. Are you considering purchasing, selling, building, or refinancing? When making these decisions, you can count on Northern Title for reliable and accurate title and closing needs. You make the choice. Northern Title has combined with local professionals to ensure your real estate needs for over 3 decades. Choose Northern Title. Good deeds done daily. Northern Title is proud to sponsor Bear Lake football. Good luck today, boys. Gateway Parks in Idaho Falls is bringing the mountain to town this winter season. Gateway Parks is a new tubing hill in Idaho Falls, located right by Ryder Park on Sunnyside Road, close to the freeway. It snows every day at Gateway Park, not like it doesn't snow every day in Idaho Falls anyways. But great. It's great for families, kids, youth groups. Everyone will have a fun time at Eastern Idaho's newest tubing adventure.
That is good. I'm looking so much forward to that. That's going to be
So they have one of these, and Doug Swanson, he's the one that opened this up, and I was talking to him about it, and he's like, yeah, they partnered with they're partners with the one in Eagle. There's one at Eagle Island Park, and my kids, they love it. They absolutely love it. It's a fun time.
Well, Doug's involved in several businesses there in East Idaho.
So quick pass out to the left side. It's not going to go for anything. It's actually going to lose a few yards. So after the injury, he walked up on his own. So Cutter Bowman got up. What initially looked like maybe it was worse than it was. We saw somebody out there on the field that was very upset, throwing a hat and throwing up fists in anger. Not at anyone, just angry at the situation.
At the situation, sure.
But he did get up, and he walked off on his own. He had some guys there with him, but hopefully it's not as bad as what it originally looked like.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 4th and, about 15. They're going to boot this one away. Down the right side, it's fair caught at the 41-yard line. North Fremont will take over there. 4:43 to go here in the third quarter. 46-6, North Fremont on top. Fall River Propane serves Eastern Idaho from Shelley and Firth to Island Park and the Teton Valley with the highest quality, hottest burning propane at competitive prices. Their industry-trained and certified service staff services all makes and models of propane fireplaces and stoves. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or call anytime at their new number, 833-682-3671. That's 833-682-3671. Fall River Propane, experience the difference. First down here for North Fremont. They're going to go right side on this run. Martin picks up maybe a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, and ultimately, that's the shortest run they've had today.
Yeah.
I think the shortest run before that was 2 yards. And here's a 1-yard run. They have not had any negative plays today. They did have one false start on them, but they haven't had any negative plays.
Even all the fumbles have gone 4 yards.
Yeah.
They just – yeah, very rare. That might be the worst offensive play of the day besides the completely missed or touchdown throw. Here's the second down handoff. This one goes left side for more yardage. This one's going to pick up about 5 yards down to the 47-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about about 4 yards here for North Fremont.
They went back to Bone on this run after running Martin on the first down. But they give themselves third and manageable as they got third and fourth on this, bringing in the play off the sideline is number 25, Sessions, who scored the last touchdown. It was nice to see them go to Sessions for that touchdown. He's a senior, not very big, 5'8", 165 pounds, has been a very good player, consistent role player within this system for Coach Lenz and the Huskies, and it was good to see them reward him with that touchdown.
Third down. Here's the pitch left side, and the ball is down, and Bear Lake has it. It's recovered by number 8, Toby Flake. And again, Flake doing everything out there. This was one of those option pitches here to the near side, and it just got away from the receiver or the running back on the play, and Flake was right there and fell right on it.
Yeah, Andrew Martin, I mean, the pitch was right there. It wasn't a bad pitch or anything. It was right in his hands and just bobbled it, and Bear Lake again. Now, Bear Lake last time, they recovered a fumble, ended up scoring on that possession. They've got good field position here. This will be their second time in the ball game inside North Fremont territory. They scored on the other one. Can they score here?
Yeah, they got the ball at the 47-yard line of North Fremont, and the Huskies were probably going to pick up a first down on the pitch. They had the edge, and the ball just got way out in front of Martin, and Flake was right there. So 1st and 10 for Bear Lake. Again, ball in the 47, 3:19 to go here in the third quarter. This time Lloyd has a back to his left and behind him. A different set we've seen, 2 receivers up top. He's going to roll to his left, keeps it up the middle, got room to run, and he's got close to the first down. I think he might be there, and they are going to give him the first down. That wasn't the designed play, I think,
No, it wasn't.
Lance.
In fact, I think in the backfield someone zigged when they should have zagged, and he ended up making something out of nothing. Brought down by big Brigham Bell, the senior, 5'10", 275 pounds, chased him down.
He went left, and it looked like he wanted to throw it to the left side, and none of those backs went with him. I thought maybe there was supposed to be some kind of option over there. He didn't like anything he had, so he just cuts back inside and gets a first down.
Well, they had twins right, twins left, and they were all in single coverage, but kind of a broken play.
First down, here's the handoff up the middle, almost dropped by Thornton, but Thornton holds on to it. He picks up, let's give him 6 yards on that play down to the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 4, 2:25 to go, 46-6 here in the third quarter.
Thornton, a name we haven't called much tonight, but he's a guy that has good speed if he can get past that initial line. Don't forget, coming up, we go to the 3A division at 8:15 is Buell and Teton in a very, very interesting matchup.
That one should be fun. Buell went on the road and upset McCall Donnelly last week. This run goes for about 1 yard. Nothing doing there. Just a simple run, nothing to it up the middle. And now it's going to be 3rd and a long 2.
Not only did they beat McCall, but they beat a McCall team that most people thought was going to rout Buell. I mean, not just beat them. They thought they were going to rout Buell. I was one of those that thought that.
Do you see the pick 6 that we put out every week?
Yeah.
Guess who picked Buell?
Was that
yours
you?
truly? I called it.
But that's because you closed your eyes and threw a dart.
I did.
I
thought, I was like, you know what? I think these District 4 teams are a little bit better than we're giving them credit for. And they were down big, and they came back and won that. Whistles fly here, and a timeout going to be called by Bear Lake. But, a game, there hasn't been a ton of upsets so far in the state playoffs, but one I was at was Dietrich and Council, a 1A game. And I was very high on Dietrich, or on Council, and I think I cursed them. They just turned the ball over way too much. You can't do that against a good team. And Dietrich beat them on the road. They were the 3rd-place team out of District 4, and they went on the road and beat the winner of District 3 over there at 1A. Outside of that, not a ton of upsets really around the state.
And your first-round teams had byes last week.
Right.
Many of your first-round teams, so they'll be playing this week. Of course, these are the only 2 games tonight. Is this one with North Fremont, Bear Lake, followed by Teton and Buell. But we got a whole slate tomorrow. We got I think there's only one game on Saturday. I think the Sugar Salem game on Saturday.
There's a couple of games on Saturday. So Tri-Valley's at Rockland.
Oh, that's right.
And
there's some 1A D1s.
There's 4. So here's what Hagerman is going to Mullen.
That's right.
That might be the longest commute of any school, I think.
Well, and Mullen, that's your interesting team, as they combine with a school out of Montana for their football team.
Yeah, St. Regis.
St. Regis out of Montana to make their football team. And Mullen is only about 6 or 7 miles from Wallace, which has always surprised me why they haven't combined those two. But you know what? The state gives funding for both schools to have your own principal and everything. So good for Mullen.
There you go. So 3rd down, 3rd and 2 here for Bear Lake. They're going to go to the air right side and over the head of the intended receiver. Outstretched arms, not able to bring it in. Now all of a sudden it's 4th down. Interesting call on 4th down or 3rd down and short to throw the ball. I guess you think, you know what, we've got we're going to go for it no matter what. We might as well try something here on 3rd and short.
Well, and I think, you know, Flake in that scenario was open. Had Flake have caught it, it would have been a 1st down. The ball was just way over his head, and it was, you know, he did have not a ton of space, but about a step on his receiver. But, you know, my thing is, if you're going to go for it on 4, why not run it? Or, I mean, if you're going to go for 4th down anyway, why not run it up that middle on 3rd and try to do something, you know, to give yourself inches maybe.
If you're not going to run it, take a shot. That's, you know,
if you're going to throw it, go to the end zone.
If you're going to run it on 4th down, no matter what happens on 3rd down, take a shot and see what you can get, knowing that you've got a small play in your back pocket. So now it's 4th and 3, and they're going to hand it off up the middle, and I don't know if they're going to get it. North Fremont all over it. It's right at the line. I don't think they have it.
No matter what side judge you have, you're about a yard short.
They needed the 27. Everybody's saying the 28, and North Fremont's going to hold right here.
Yeah, it's going to be a turnover on downs.
There was just nowhere to run up the middle that time. There was a little bit of space, but North Fremont wrapped it up. And, Lance, here's a good sign. Cutter Bowman on the field right now for the Huskies.
Yeah, that is a good sign as he went down. And based upon the responses out on the field, you know, we thought it was going to be something extremely serious.
Yeah.
So we're glad it's not. And don't forget, folks, the score's 46-6. We still got some time left in the 3rd quarter. We got a whole other quarter to play.
1:06 to go here in the 3rd. North Fremont well in control of this game. 1st down, Huskies ball on the 28-yard line. Again, the same veer tight, wing T type formation for the Huskies. This time going up the middle, a lot of room to run across the 40 and off to the races and going to go all the way for the touchdown. Andrew Martin goes untouched. 72 yards. Oh, my goodness. I mean, he had 2 defenders right behind him around the 45, and he turned on the jets and completely broke away for 72 yards, and it's 52-6. Lance, this North Fremont team, I've seen a lot of teams play at a lot of levels this year. This might be one of the best teams that I have seen. Complete, put together, know what they're doing, and they're going to be scary next week, whoever they play.
They are. No question, they were the most prepared team coming in today.
So here's the 2-point conversion. This one's going to go up the middle, and again, untouched, just right up the middle of his bone. He punches it in, 54-6 now. And, you know, I don't know, Lance, maybe you know this. You're kind of connected into their program, maybe just a little bit more than most. Do they some schools like to play outside, say, come to our elements, come to this. In the past, I've gotten the sense that maybe that's what they wanted to do, but this team looks so fast on this turf. Does it benefit them to be on this turf, or would it benefit them next week against, let's just say, a West Side to welcome them up to a cold Ashton?
You know, I think they'd rather play on the turf. In fact, to be honest with you, I think that's why they played down here this week as well. Play on it and get used to it. You plan on going deep into the playoffs, if not winning the whole thing. You know, you're going to be here. You're going to have to play on it. Might as well get used to playing on the turf. Plus, you're playing Western teams in a Bear Lake that's just as cold as you are in Ashton, and a West Side that's dang near there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so,
not much
I mean, it's one thing if you're playing a team from the western side of the state where
we're babies.
It's 15, 20 degrees warmer oftentimes. You make it come down and take a hit at 25-degree weather. That's a whole different thing.
I live in the Treasure Valley, and I'll tell you, we're babies. When we come over, my sister-in-law and my wife's family all lives over here, and we come over, I'm like, it's cold over. I forget how cold it is from when I lived over here. So you're right. Maybe, you know, they look fast on this turf.
Yeah, very fast.
And that I think it's going to bode well for them. They've dropped 54 points, and we're in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah. Well, and again, where did they get it from? They got it because they run that veer, and if you don't tackle them on that line, there's nobody waiting for them. That secondary's up too tight.
Here comes the kick. It's going to be caught at the 11-yard line, going to go up the far sideline and knocked out of bounds shy of the 30 returner that time. Anderson brings it up. Good return of about 18 yards. And Bear Lake going to try to get something going here. 51 seconds to go in the third quarter, down 54-6. Again, Bear Lake moving from left to right as you hear it. Will flip sides of the field after probably 2 more plays here in the quarter. Great night here at Holt Arena. We brought in all the stuff, and we got to take the fresh new elevator up the stairs, which
we did.
And, I saw it outside when I walked in. You could see there's like an outcrop.
Yeah.
There's it looks like a big chimney on the flat face of Holt Arena, and that's where the elevator is.
Well, that's part of what they needed to do to get compliant as well.
Here's a handoff right side for Bear Lake, cuts it back in.
It's Gonzalez. First time we've really seen him bring it out of the backfield tonight.
And a good run, picks up 5 yards. Again, he started out going to the right, cut it back inside, up the middle, and the ball is spotted at the 35 now, right in the middle of the field.
Yeah, 5-yard gain on the play. Nice run for them, because up the middle has been something they just have not been able to do. Really their best running play came on something that was other than a quarterback keeper, has been kind of misdirection stuff.
So 2nd and 5, 18 seconds to go. This will probably be the final play of the quarter, barring an incompletion. Here's the run up the middle. Some room to run. They bounce it out left side this time. They've got the first down to the 41-yard line. Clock will stop to move the chains, but a good run there by that time by Thornton.
You got North Fremont averaging 41 points a game, giving up just under 12 points a game. And a Bear Lake team, one of the keys to victory for Bear Lake as well, because they only average 22 points a game and they give up roughly 21. Not a lot of room for error there. Is that if you wanted to win this ball game, you're Bear Lake, you were going to have to keep North Fremont down around 20 points to win it, because that's all you've proven you can really put on the board, other than last week. But again, last week you were playing Wendell, you weren't playing North Fremont.
Well, that's going to do it for the quarter here. 54-6. Let's thank some of our local sponsors here. Sorry, I'm trying to get my sheet over there as we go out.
Tonjes Brazilian Orm Dental Offices make visits enjoyable and positive with 2 convenient locations, one in St. Anthony, one in Ashton. Budget-friendly payment plans and family dentistry offered at such a great value. The offices of Tonjes Brazilian Orm really is such a wonderful place to make your entire family's dental home. Tonjes Brazilian Orm, caring family dentists, wishing the boys good luck in today's game. They say, go Huskies. You can also visit them at tbodental.com. That's the letter T, B-O, dental.com. Grand Peaks, your community health center, is proud to support your local athletes and keep them healthy on the road to the state titles. Grand Peaks is located in St. Anthony and Rexburg. They provide affordable medical, dental, behavioral health, and pharmacy services for the entire family. Their healthcare providers and staff are highly trained and experienced in all areas of primary medicine, obstetrics, family dentistry, and behavioral health and prescription services.
Thanks to all our local sponsors here. It's going to be first down here for Bear Lake. They're going to take it up the middle, about a 5-yard pickup. So good pickup on first down. We'll call it actually a gain of 6. And Bear Lake got a couple first downs on this drive, and they are moving the ball down the field. So it's going to be second down, 2nd and 4, 11:30 to go here. Thanks, Lance, for reading those in for us.
You bet. Bear Lake, really, the quarter that doomed them was quarter number 1. That was really the quarter. It was one of those keys to victory. Don't get down early, because North Fremont is so hard to come back on. That just played out true today. And here's another run out to the side and another loss of yards.
Yeah, Bear Lake runs out to the right side, not able to pick up anything. They lose 3 yards back to the 45. It's going to be 3rd and 7 now. And again, it was 30, but look at the third quarter too, Lance. I mean, that one, it was 30-0 at halftime. You scored the first points of the quarter if you're Bear Lake. 30-6. Hey, maybe we've got something going here, and at the end of the quarter, you gave up 24 points.
Yeah,
and they gave up 22, I think, in the first quarter.
That's right.
And then 24, it just not a good first quarter that set the tone of the game. Here's a handoff, and nowhere. They're going to lose 2 yards in the backfield. There are 5 purple jerseys on the running back there for Bear Lake. I believe that was Pugmire on the run, and he had nowhere to go.
Just such a tough assignment to go up the middle against that team, and they're going to go for it on 4th there. Really no need to kick it. You're out near midfield.
No.
you know, in this scenario. And, you know, the clock is moving. And just it's just been a tough day for Bear Lake. I mean, at this point, 54-6, there's not going to be a comeback in this game. Let's lay that out right now. There's not going to be a comeback for a victory here. But if you're Bear Lake, you got a lot of young players. We talked about 16 freshmen dressing in this game. Got a lot of young players, and leave them with something that works for them going into next season.
Here's the punt, and this one a good kick. It's going to bounce at the 25, still rolling, going to go out of bounds around the 22-yard line. A great kick. Bear Lake has punted the ball very well outside of the short 6-yard punt. That there was just nothing that they could do
and
about
even that one was a bad snap again. You know,
it was.
You got Flake back there. Flake's been doing the kicking for him. I'll tell you what, Flake would be a good punter at any division here.
Oh, yeah. No.
State of Idaho, all the way 1A through 5A, he'd be a good punter.
And the thing about the punts the best thing about them is they've got great hang time that gives your team time to get down there. They're not so high that they're so short. They're long and high and give the team time to get back there. And North Fremont really hasn't had a great punt return opportunity. Again, we're going to throw that one down here out the window on the punt return that was only 6 yards.
An odd stat, punt return.
Here's a handoff up the middle and almost breaking free. Man, Bone had one man to beat, and he got wrapped up around the ankles right up the middle, and he picks up 8 yards down to the 30-yard line. 9:25 to go here in the fourth quarter.
I think we're going to see some of the bench come in and get some playing time here pretty soon for North Fremont. They're not going to want to take a chance of getting some kids hurt. You know, I see going in as running back now. You got Hunter Hogle going in. You got Owen Reed. And these kids are very capable as well and will be getting runs next year as well. So this is a good opportunity for them. Plus, you know, you have somebody go down with an injury, something like that. You gotta have some kids that can come off, that have some experience.
There's no reason to keep playing your starters at this point if you don't want to have an injury. Here's a run up the middle, room to run and breaking a couple of tackles and another shoestring tackle. And if it wasn't for that stop, Andrew Martin is dancing in the end zone. He gets tripped up just shy of midfield, and it's the same play. It's this veer that they run right up the middle, and the holes are huge.
Yep,
Grand Canyon through
It either
there.
goes through the A gap on the right side or the A gap on the left side, and he's already scored a 72-yard touchdown on that today as well.
Just a phenomenal play back and forth, and North Fremont's going to take a timeout. I wonder if this is to get some new personnel in. We got one more sponsor to thank for today being here on the broadcast. It is Big Judd's in Ashton. Their home-style burgers are made with fresh ingredients every day. Their meat is never frozen. Or excuse me, their meat is never pre-made or frozen, and only the freshest meat they use there. The challenge is on when you order the world-famous 1-pound or 2-pound burgers. But if you order the Man vs. Food burger, all bets are off. Not a burger fan, Big Judd's has you covered with chicken sandwiches, salads, finger steaks, and more. You'll find something for everyone. Open 11 a.m. Monday through Saturday and always ready to serve you. Located at 1370 Highway 20 in Ashton. Check out the online menu as well at BigJuds.com. You can't miss it. It's on the way out of town as you go to Island Park. And Lance knows everybody. My family is from North Carolina, and Lance probably knows my relatives better than I do. But he was telling me he knows Judd. Is that his name? Is his name Judd?
Yep, Judd Nieder, good friend of mine, and
it's a good place, and
of course he's got a number of locations. He's got a location up in Boise for that as well.
Yep, there's one in Meridian and Archer, I believe.
Yep. Archer was, of course, the original one out there in Archer, which is where he's from, where he still lives, that area.
That's the one I've been to the most. Here's a run up the middle for North Fremont, just a yard, and we have seen the substitutions come in. Roy Wynn is now in at quarterback for the Huskies, and a lot of new bodies in here. But the one in Archer is a cool set. It is just like an old school building, and it just feels like your small town diner.
That old traditional diner setting, it's really, really good.
So it's going to be second down here after a pickup of 3. They'll run it up the middle, and somehow no one is there, and catching from behind is Wynn, but not after a gain of about 15 yards. down inside the 30-yard line now.
Well, and North Fremont's probably going to score again. Even their second string here is good. They had a great JV program. Their second string, these are guys that have had, because they've had a number of blowouts this year, they've been able to get quite a bit of playing time for a lot of these kids, and that is valuable coming in. A lot of these kids will be your starters next year. I mean, you're going to lose. Wynn will be back next year, but you're going to lose Jed Hill. You're going to lose Jacob Hill in that group. You're going to lose Bone in that group, and so these kids are going to have to step up and do it. And how do you tell these kids they can't go on the field and play as hard as they can just because you're up 54-6?
Here's a run this time. That's Patino. I thought it was Patino.
Well, it ended up being Martindale on the carry, but again, look what you got. You got 6.5 yards on that play.
Yeah, and that's what they're just picking it up. And Lance, I'm going to cut back here. How did Melba's a good team. How did they? This is a phenomenal team that we're seeing right here. That's not a knock on Melba. What I'm saying is, if Melba beat them, what?
Turnovers.
And Nampa Christian beat Melba. They are one of those teams could make a statement against Declo
that's right.
in the next round.
Well, I think the most competitive class sizes from 1 through 5 in your rankings, meaning you got the closest between 1 through 5, is 3A and 2A.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. The 2A is stacked. Here's a flag. The run went up the middle for only a gain of about 2, but we'll see. Very few penalties in this game.
Yeah, it has. It's actually gone pretty quick. I think it was either, it looks like it's going to be, it's going to be a false start. It's they've been late calling those false starts. They usually blow the play dead on it and stuff. I thought it was either going to be a false start against North Fremont, or it was going to be an offsides, lined up offsides with Bear Lake. It looked close, couldn't quite tell, but.
So it's going to come back 5 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 9, 6, and I think the clock, it's running now. I'm not sure. I haven't been looking at it. Not sure if it's a running clock or not, or if they just restarted it after the penalty.
No, they just restarted it after that. You got Benny Torres in the game now, just a sophomore, 5'10", 125 pounds. He's also a quarterback and a DB, lining up in the backfield this time.
Wynn waits the snap. He hands it off left side, this time to Owen Reed. The sophomore picks up about 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 7 here for North Fremont.
Well, we've called Owen Reed's name today, just not in this position. We've called him on the defensive side of the ball.
So Reed, like you've been saying it, Lance, there's a lot of these guys that are going to have to step up next year, and Reed's one of those. But you look at all the seniors on this team. This is their time. This is the time to get it done when your core group are these seniors that have been ready, been right on the doorstep of a state championship for so long. And you got to think that they want it just as much as anybody else or more that's out there in the 2A classification. Here's a handoff inside once again to Reed, and Reed is short of the 20, down to the 21. Pickup of about 4. This is going to be 4th and 3, it looks like.
Well, you look at those good teams that these guys took the torch from, the groups with A.J. Hill, with Jordan Lenz, and all those groups that were so good as well. And, and that foundation was laid, and each team's just trying to take it one step farther, and they're going to return a lot of great players next year as well, as is Bear Lake.
Yeah.
Bear Lake, you go down their roster, this is a young team. Very young team.
And, again, we've said it how many times. They just won a state championship a year ago. It's not like they're program in dire straits. Here's a handoff up the middle. They're not going to pick up. That was Patino that time.
Yeah, it's going to be a turnover on downs.
And he needed 3. He got 1. 4:38 on the clock, and Bear Lake going to get the ball back to look to put something on the board here. 54-6. Again, 4:38 to go.
Well, really, what we're seeing is a North Fremont team that whoever they play next week is going to have to do their game prep.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't do your game prep and you don't take care of that middle, where have they done most of their damage tonight? Done most of their damage in the A gap, right side A gap, left side. And if you're not taking care of those, you're going to get run over by this team. And then the thing is, if you do take care of those, well, then you got Jed Hill running up the B gap.
They can
on
beat
those
you.
Sides.
Here's a reverse, and they're going to get stopped in the backfield. Nowhere to run for Anderson. He's wrapped up by Andy Jorgensen in the backfield, and they're going to lose gosh, 7 yards back all the way to the 13-yard line.
So good to see Andy Jorgensen out there getting some playing time. Of course, his dad, Jim, grew up there, went to high school, played football, basketball there at North Fremont. That's his boy, and then he's one of the coaches on this team as well. And he told me, he says, he's just happy to be out here with these kids. He's a senior this year.
Oh, yeah.
To get that loss of yardage down, that's good for him.
And he read it like a book. It was a reverse, and Bear Lake was coming around on that reverse back to the far side. So Bear Lake again moving right to left as you hear it. 3:45 to go in this one. Here's a run left side, room to run, and stuffed right at the 15-yard line. Thornton runs it, and he's stopped immediately by.
Well, that's the junior, Hunter Hogle, who ended up standing straight up. He's only 5'5", 145 pounds. He stood him straight up.
He just kind of lowered his shoulder and picked him up and dropped him there at the 15. They got 2 yards out of it. But now as the clock rolling now, 3:18 to go. Bear Lake facing a 3rd and long.
So got big Tucker Reynolds in there. In the middle, 6'4", 250-pound senior.
So twins to either side of the formation here for Lloyd. He's got Gonzalez to his right. And this one thrown deep down the field, and is it intercepted? It is. Taken away by number 22, Owen Reed. And you talked about how we called his name on defense. He goes up for the jump ball and brings it down at the 42-yard line. I thought maybe Levi Stonehouse had a big play down the sideline, but Owen Reed said no thank you. He takes it away. 2:54 to go, and the Huskies can all but end this one on the ground.
That's 4 interceptions now on the day, and Owen Reed's got 2 of them.
Man, just a phenomenal effort on offense and defense from this North Fremont team. Let's just say it's West Side next week that plays against North Fremont. I selfishly want to claim myself as doing that game right now. I want to book myself because that would be fun, and even if it's Aberdeen, that would also be good. This North Fremont team is sure fun to watch.
Well, just book me along with you.
All right, we'll do it, Lance. I'll see what.
I mean, either way, the game's going to be here because you've got a West Side. You got a West Side or an Aberdeen team. They're both East Idaho teams, so it's not going to go out in the valley or anything.
It'll probably be here based on what we've seen in the past. Here's a handoff up the middle, and maybe 2 yards picked up.
Yeah, you look at these other players who are just going to flat out be able to step into different roles next year. Sam Moons, he's also a quarterback. You got Roy Wynn. He's running the quarterback out there. Benny Torres is a quarterback on this team. They're not hurting for talent coming up next year. And, North Fremont is one of the smallest 2As in the state. In fact, they petitioned a couple years ago to stay at 2A so that they can continue playing 11-man football.
And they've been very competitive at it. So here's the second down play. This time run up the middle, up the right hash, goes for about 3 yards. Lance, we're going to have to fight over it because only one of us can do it. Paul just texted me. He said he's got dibs next week. So,
well,
I guess you can come work with Paul.
I might be old, but I'm slow.
Yes, I like coming over here, but I also like staying home too. So Paul can have this one.
Well, there's going to be good games all over the state next week.
I
mean, these next couple of weeks are going to be something special, in the state. And
you look at if Teton is able to win. You look at a Teton Homedale semifinal. That would be fun. That probably on the banks of the Snake River over there next week.
Yeah.
Here's a handoff up the middle, and this time the ball carrier is Reed, and he gets the first down. Fights his way just up the hash mark to the 30-yard line, and he's got the first.
Well, you look at the games that this facility here has hosted. I mean, go back to 2 years ago when on Championship Saturday you had a Sugar team coming off of 3 straight state championships. They lost in double overtime on the 1-inch line to Weezer.
I was right there on the field. It was wild.
Followed by a Rigby Highland game.
Sold out.
When Ian Hershey was playing, jam-packed stadium.
And here's a run up the middle. Nothing there. No gain. It'll be second down. And the next play might be the last play of the game. There's only 55 seconds to go. But I tell people that was the best environment that I have personally seen for a high school football. It was awesome. There was not a seat open in this place between Highland and Rigby.
No, and there was loud. There were very few left during the Sugar game.
Yeah.
Sugar and Weezer. And, I'm up here in the booth, and I'm looking down thinking, How am I going to get out of here? I hope no fire breaks out.
Oh, man.
I don't know how I'm going to get out of this baby.
Awesome environment. Here comes the play. This might be the final play of the game. They're going to run it up the middle, down the right hash, down to the 20-yard line. That time it was carried by number 28, again, Patino. Or was that Martindale?
That's 29, Martindale.
So Martindale gets what's probably the final play of the game.
And he's just a sophomore as well on this team, so they got a lot of guys coming back.
So that's going to do it for us here. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with our player of the game, so don't go anywhere. Again, the Idaho Transportation Department player of the game coming up right after this. North Fremont knocks off Bear Lake 54-6. We'll be right back.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
We do things differently in Idaho. Sometimes we go east to find west, where muddy trails meet huckleberry smiles. Stars shine electric, and the wind smells like destiny. Sure, our traffic jams are strange, and not all our steaks are ribeyes. But wherever we go, our eyes never leave the road. Belts strapped and dreams packed, no distractions, no phones, focused. From here to there, it's who we are.
And welcome back, everybody. All that's left to do is name our player of the game. Today's player of the game is brought to you by the Idaho Office of Highway Safety, reminding you to always keep your head in the game, whether you're on the field or on the road. Be in the moment and free from distractions. Well, Lance, we had a discussion about the player of the game. North Fremont spread the ball evenly, a lot of points, a lot of different players scored the ball, but ultimately one player just seemed to step up, stand out above the rest.
Yeah, that was Jacob Hill. Jacob Hill just did a great job and was so consistent. You know, it's one of the things you notice with the North Fremont team. They are extremely consistent in the way they play the game of football. Coach Ben Lenz, just does a great job with them. On the day, he had 3 touchdowns plus a 2-point conversion as well. One of those touchdowns for 72 yards.
So congratulations. Thanks again, Jacob Hill, our Idaho Sports Player of the Game, presented by the Idaho Office of Highway Safety. Again, reminding you to always keep your head in the game, whether you're on the field or on the road. Be in the moment and free from distractions. Well, this has been an IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of the 2023 Idaho High School Football Playoffs, presented by the Idaho Transportation Department and Ideal, Idaho's college saving program. Additional coverage on IdahoSports.com is presented by Project Filter, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Valleywide Cooperative, Next Steps Idaho, Your Health Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. Special thanks to everybody here at Holt Arena and at both of these schools, North Fremont and Bear Lake, for helping us get the information we needed to get this game broadcast to you at home. Again, congratulations to Jacob Hill, our player of the game today, as North Fremont knocks off Bear Lake 54-6. Let's thank our local broadcast partners here today for North Fremont, Pocock Trucking, St. Anthony Motors, Baxter Funeral Home, Tonjes,
Brazee,
oh my God.
Orm. Yeah,
Tonjes,
Brazee, and Orm.
Grand Peaks Medical Center, Gateway Park, Fall River Propane, Valley Office Systems, and Big Judd's. And for Bear Lake, South Point Electric, Northern Title, Gary Tusher, Soupier, and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Thanks for joining us again. Logan Green joined alongside Lance Taylor for this one. We'll be back on the call in just a few minutes for Teton and Buell. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next game.
Did you know Idaho high school seniors graduating next spring are eligible for up to $8,000 in grant money for career training and education through Idaho Launch? Funds can be used to cover the cost of apprenticeships, job training, community college, and university programs that lead to in-demand careers. Students choose their own path, and Idaho Launch helps pay for it. Funds are limited. Apply today at nextsteps.idaho.gov/launch. Idaho Launch. Support in every